Hi. Tonight on the rundown. How you doing? Tonight on the rundown, we're gonna basically break down all things Drag Race, from Reunited to the online beefs and all the drama from the finale. So we're definitely gonna be talking about that. Plus, my girl Wendy Williams. Apparently, her close friends are concerned for her well being, including her brother Tommy, who is lashing out at her team for forcing his unwell sister to film a reality show. And we also have this story that I came across in The Advocate, which I thought was relatively interesting to bring about on the show, which would be, what is it with gays and their lack of support towards queer reality content? So basically, I'm going to give my overall thoughts regarding why gay men hate gay reality stars so damn much. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, we got news on Billy Porter, Sam Smith, B. Scott versus Andy Cohen, Madonna, and a whole bunch of stuff. So we definitely got a really big show to get to today. But hold on, let me bring up my notes because, we was having technical difficulties, so I had to do that off the rip. Normally, we have a little intro with the rundown. But yeah, so it is what it is. But anyway, hey y'all, welcome to a brand new episode of The Rundown. The Rundown, I should say, starts right now. Ew. I just had to do my Cardi B. But anyway, hey y'all, welcome to a brand new episode of The Rundown. I'm your host, Chris Avalon. This is your first time tuning in. And basically, this is a show where I basically just run down all the entertainment news and hot topics that's been happening throughout the week that you may have missed. Or basically, if you haven't missed it, I basically just give my full-on opinion on all the tea and everything that's going on. So we got a lot of topics to get to. We're going to be talking about, like I said, we're going to be talking about Wendy Williams. I also got some tea on Kevin Hunter, who is apparently talking about he going to sue Tasha K over this resurfaced interview that she did where there was a man who was claiming that he had a sexual relationship with Kelvin. So we're going to break that down. Plus, we got news on, like I said, Britney Spears. We're going to talk about Billy Porter. We're going to talk about that reality TV thing. We're going to talk about Sam Smith's Gloria tour, and apparently the girls are going in on it. The gays are not featuring what's happening. The conservatives are complaining about it. I'm going to give my overall thoughts, especially that he does Human Nature. There's a whole outfit situation they got a problem with. Him walking around with his B cups sticking out and wearing a garter and all this other mess. Look at a mess. So we're going to talk about all that. Plus, we're going to talk about the Q Nightclub because some shit went down with that. And I want to give my overall thoughts. I thought about doing a TikTok, but I was like, you know what? This needs to be a whole broken down situation. So we're going to talk about the Q Nightclub finally closing its doors. We did do something. We did cover that, I believe, a while ago. I don't remember how long ago. Child, I be doing so many damn shows. I forget when I do things, but I know it was discussed. So we're going to talk about the Q Nightclub and all the tea I was starting to hear. And I want to give a shout out to my friend Michael Cook, who wrote the article. Also, yeah, we're going to talk about Britney. We're going to talk about Madonna. We're going to talk about this exclusive with B. Scott, talking about that Andy Cohen is unfit to host these housewife reunions. I want to give my overall thoughts on that. So we're going to talk about all that and a whole lot more. But what we need to get into, child, is Drag Race. So the finale aired last night, but before we get into the finale, I feel like there's some things that we should discuss. Okay, so I know y'all noticed we took 2 weeks off. Chris Avalon Unfiltered is coming. We don't have a necessary date yet. I was talking with production. We're thinking we're shooting for June. Y'all already saw the theme song, the intro, the video. Everybody, thank you for loving the video. Thank you for supporting it and just being like, oh my, and everybody who really, really knows me. And then people who actually follow everything I do on social media and y'all cackle. And I appreciate the cacklation. They were like, oh, it's showing your personality. You really get to see how you really are. So like, I've had even one of my really close friends, Alex, that I went to film school with, I sent it to him because we were having a conversation a couple of days ago, and he was like, "Oh, it showcases who you are. It gives people a sense of your personality." And I feel like y'all get a lot of that from this show, but I feel like if I'm going to do Chris Avalon Unfiltered, I'm going all the way off. No stone will be unturned, and the shade will be at a 25 from the scale of 1 to 10. I mean, I have changed. Mother has grown, but the shade will always be there. Okay. So I want to give a shout. So shout out to y'all for loving on the video and stuff. I was like, let me just give y'all a little sneak peek. But we're shooting for possibly June. It's a lot of work that goes into putting a whole show and production and stuff together. So bear with me. And we're thinking about trying to move things over to my website and a whole bunch of. So there's a lot of things that we're discussing behind the scenes that I'll let you all know about once we get close to my damn watch. Once we get close to the launch, and we want to do it properly. I don't want to do nothing half-assed, although sometimes I just be quick to do shit when I shouldn't. But anyway, nevertheless, hey y'all. But over the past 2 weeks when we took off, I did some things. I hung out, seen a couple of movies. I saw Scream 6. I saw it once. I was thinking about going to see it more than once, but child, Colby pathetic. I don't care. But I saw the only movie that I saw multiple times. I actually saw it 3 times. I saw John Wick 4 3 times. Yes, I sat through that 3-hour damn movie 3 times. I loved it. I love Keanu Reeves. That's my Virgo twin. The action was impeccable. It's unmatched. Like, these are things that I hope to see in future films. I am going to go to the movies to see Fast and the Furious when it comes out next month. I am hoping and praying that movie is not like Fast 9, a hot ass mess. March was a pretty good month for movies. I wanted to see Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sorry that it flopped at the box office, but I had a feeling it was going to. It's not necessarily an IP that screams like huge box office numbers, even though the cast was amazing. I heard the film was really good. It was a fun time. I'm definitely going to check it out when it pops up on a streaming service, which will probably be in like the next couple of weeks. Like, look, they already got Shazam 2 coming to fucking Max, because it's not HBO Max anymore, which don't even get me started on that stupid ass title. It's coming to Max next month. They already got a release date. I saw that because that was a huge bomb at the box office. Not surprised, because when I seen the trailers of the theaters, people wasn't really all that enthused to see the film to begin with. Then, what was it? Scream 6. It's supposed, I think in 10 days it hits digital. I'm definitely going to be purchasing it when it comes out. John Wick, I don't know when that's going to come out, but I'm sure it'll probably be next month too. So this is, and look, Cocaine Bear, didn't that just come out a couple of weeks ago? Now, that's already on Peacock. It came out last night. So, well, Friday, not Saturday, but Friday. Anyway, so I'm gonna definitely check that out when I get a chance. But yeah, it's like, as much as I love going to the movies, it's like movies don't even stay in the theaters long before they're already on streaming services and stuff. But if it's good enough, I'm gonna support it. I was supposed to go see Evil Dead Rise. I was invited to a screening, but I wasn't able to make it, which I'm upset about. But I know it comes out this coming Friday, so I'm definitely gonna go check that out. But I've heard great things about it. So yeah, and shout out to my friends who are out dipping and doing it. I know one of my friends, who was a couple, are throwing a party right now, Purgatory, at Rock Bar. So shout out to y'all. My ex roommate from Brooklyn has his harder party out in Brooklyn. So, I knows the girls, honey. Like, a lot of my friends turn out to be party promoters. And also, I didn't realize this, but I posted something earlier. June, I think maybe around the time that we're going to be launching the show, like June 10th or something, or June 13th, I believe will be the 1-year anniversary of the chrisavalon.com website. I'm like, child, time flies. And shout out to all the people that said that they love the website and they have a good time, especially Daniel Nardicio was like one of the biggest media people, not media, but he's one of the biggest nightclub promoters in New York. He bought the old Esquilita and is turning it into a club called Red Eye. And he also is doing some work out on Fire Island at oh my god, I think the Pavilion, one of those places. So Miss Mamas is out here rejudging gay nightlife. So shout out to all the people that support me and those I love y'all and all that good stuff. So, look, Mother has that. I won't tell y'all my age, but Mother's lived. Not as old as I try to act like I am. But anyway, let's get to the show. So I had to just go get on my accolades because it's been a minute since we saw each other. So now, without further ado, let's get into the show, which is RuPaul's Drag Race. So a lot of shit happened. But before we get to the winning, who won and all that other stuff, let's talk about Reunited. So Reunited happened last week. It was 2 hours. quiet as it's kept, it didn't need to be 2 hours. But we got 2 hours. And I feel like that was just to make up for the fact that a lot of it started out with a rough season. A lot of people were upset over the fact that they had cut down the episodes because they wanted to promote Real Friends of WeHo, and people were upset about it. And don't get me wrong, this, when I'm talking about Real Friends of WeHo, that plays into the article that I came across on from The Advocate, which is the topic I'm going to talk about, which is gay men. Why don't gay people support gay reality television shows? We're all for the housewives, but we're not for gay content. Whenever we get content put towards us, we don't support it in the reality TV realm. But we'll get to that later on in the show. So a lot of things happened. They recap things. They even threw like stuff that they even tried to pull the challenge, the shit they should have shown. But I think that was all the stuff that didn't make the cut because they cut the show down to 40 damn minutes from, an hour and a half show. So we learned that Princess Poppy, who came in dressed as Rebecca Glasscock from season 1, which was everything, by the way, went and did an interview with Entertainment Weekly's Quick Drag podcast and basically said that she's stepping back from drag. And here's what she said. She said, "I want to fall off the face of the planet. I don't want to be famous. I want to fade into obscurity." That's not a bad thing. I think people put so much emphasis on success and fame, and it's okay to not want to be famous. It's totally valid to not want to be known by a bunch of people. That's just not what I want. I don't want that for my life. She also said that Princess Poppy is not going to go away. She may appear at DragCon, and she's probably going to make a couple of appearances touring, which I'm not mad at Princess Poppy for saying that, because here's the thing. The more shows continue to come out of Drag Race, like we're already season 15 wrapped. They're gonna start shooting season 16 in the fall. Shout out to, oh my god, who was it? I just saw Acid Betty, who posted something on her page, was like, they leaked the season 16 queens, and it's basically AIs of all the Republican assholes in drag. Like Clarence Thomas and Ron Dumbass Santis and them heifers. So I did find that to be a cackle when I saw that. But anyway, so I get it. Not everybody is conditioned and wants to be famous. Not everybody is made to be, I need to be on TV. I need to be doing this, and I need to be at the same level as an Adore Delano or Bianca Del Rio or even a Sasha Colby or whatever the case is. I was like, damn, I done spoil who won. But you already know by now. But anyway, so we'll get to that in a minute. But so with that being said, I get it. And girl, you was pretty much the second one eliminated in your season. So I didn't think that you was that memorable. At least the one that was smart enough to be memorable was oh my god, who was it? Irene Dubois, who was the first one eliminated. We're gonna get to her too, because we gotta talk about her and the whole situation between her and Selena's titties. So I get it. Not everybody wants to be, and it's hard to even try to remember who half these queens are, because there's so many spinoffs. We got Drag Race, España season 3, which is like one of my favorite spinoffs out of all the international spinoffs. I don't think it is, because I feel like many shows that have like 59,000 spinoffs, you can pick and choose which ones you want to sit and watch. You're not obligated to watch all 29,000 spinoffs of Drag Race. I know it would drive me insane if I had to do that, but I will have to say this: one of y'all really gonna have to diversify your portfolio, because if all y'all got on that channel is Drag Race, it's gonna get pretty tired pretty quick. But I do see they trying to step into out TV territory by adding Click Boys, which is a little docuseries on adult film stars. So I have noticed that WoW is trying to step out into that. And look, go-go dancers, porn stars, drag queens, those are our community's superheroes. They all go hand in hand. They all work together in the nightlife scene. So I don't know why you don't incorporate all those things into your programming. Child, I even got some ideas if you want to run it by me, and I can, produce and host. But anyway, so Shout out to Princess Poppy about that. Also, what happened behind the scenes with a bunch of other stuff about the drag queen and Mistress Isabel Brooks. So now we got now we got drag queens battle rapping, which I thought was funny within itself. But here's the thing: I know people was on social media taking this shit seriously. It was all in good fun. The girls wasn't really fighting. It was they were poking fun and playing around on social media. So what happened was Mistress took to Twitter to say that Bob has stepped out of pocket with comments she made on her podcast Sibling Rivalry with Monet Exchange, and basically was saying like, I'm done beating around the bush. She has stepped out of line with me one too many times at that one queen when I see you was on site, period. So tired of you gaslighting the bullying queens like Monet Exchange and well, you bet your match today, drop that addy. And so they went, and I think Bob had said something or another. If I wake up and this retweet has 15,000 likes, I'm dropping the Mistress Isabel Books diss track. So it hit the goal, and Bob dropped the diss track. Mistress Isabel Brooks also dropped the bitch trap, but the tweets were the funny part from gay Twitter. So one person, Masquerade, put MIB, cut the crease and grab the mascara. You about to enter your get your ass whooped era, because you know she has errors on the show. They said the Bob the Drag Queen versus Mistress Isabel Brooks diss track really gave, but I'm Team Bob on this one. Another one posted, why did Bob the Drag Queen just drop the best rap song this year? And that was from XOXO Gossip Turd. So overall, I will say this. And then Bobbiana wrote, that's Bob the Drag Queen, by the way. Not gonna lie, this queen do got nerve. Maybe I'm hashtag Team Mistress. I don't know anymore. So, you know, they dropped the post. And, you know, Bob has an EP out called Gay Bars, Gaybarz, which I absolutely love. I've had a couple of the tracks on repeat. I'm black with a capital black. You know, that's like one of my songs on the album. But that I like. Well, EP, because it's something like 4 or 5 tracks. The album is literally, the EP is literally under 30 minutes. Like, it's really short. But anyway, but it ain't as short as Kim Petras' Slut Pop EP. What the fuck was that? It's like, girl, that's just like 15 minutes. You could do a whole jerk off session and be done by the time that album's done. A quickie. But anyway, so between the battles, I'm gonna have to agree and say that Bob ate. Her diss track basically gave what needed to be given. When I listened to Mistress sounded like she recorded that in her bathroom or something. Like, the quality and everything was poor. Bob put a lot of work into it, including the video. Like, he had all the effects and stuff popping up. Like, I was living for it. So that's my assessment on that. And then we go from one battle, which was all in fun, to a back and forth that wasn't all that great, but they at least patched it up in the end. So that was cute. And that would be between Irene Dubois and Selena Estidis. Now, Irene, caused some tension during the season because, even though she was the first one eliminated in the premiere, which I did not see. Like I told y'all from before, I did see the premiere when I went to the red carpet premiere, but they didn't show the full 2 hours. They only showed us the first half. The second half, I got to watch with the rest of the world. So I didn't know Irene got eliminated until the episode actually dropped the next day, because we had seen it. The big premiere thing was on Thursday. Friday was when the episode aired, and then I got to see it with the rest of the world. So I had no idea, like I said, Irene got eliminated. So she made best, of her time at the reunion. She got in the middle of a lot of things. I don't know if it was either the Irene Dubois show or if it was Mistress Isabel Brooks, but Mistress was in the midst of a lot of shit on the show. And within good reason, because, a lot of these girls be producing themselves and they don't want to give what needs to be given. So Mistress was like, I'm just going to turn up and be the whole, I'm going to be a messy queen era. And that's why she was in the center of a lot of the drama, which I was living for, because I look at this as all but entertainment. Like I've told you, I won't say I've been raised by drag queens, but I've been around them for so long, since I've been going to nightclubs for over 2 decades, that when I see stuff like this on Drag Race, I'm not bothered because I'm entertained by it all. A lot of y'all go on social media and take this shit too damn serious. I was like, y'all need to get a life. Doing team this and fighting and getting in beefs and battles and things with people on social media. And we're gonna talk about the bullying and stuff because that's what Lux has been experiencing from Trinity and her fans. You know how it is between white queens and black queens. So we're gonna get to that in a second. But the Seattle performer basically also did an interview with Quick Drag podcast over at Entertainment Weekly, in which she opened up about rekindling the flames of Wiggate because, you know, she had the whole 40 inches battle. Is it 40 inches? Is it not 40 inches? The wig that Lux came in with. And then the infamous Selena Estides read. So basically what she said was, the energy in the room was awkward. It sort of sucked out all the air out of the room. And that's when the whole thing, if you need a reminder, she read Selena for having a fake accent, which rubbed Selena the wrong way because we saw her roll her eyes. And then she said, okay, white girl. She goes and says, it was one of those things that I knew was going to be risky. I knew that as a joke, to some people, it was going to seem inappropriate. I wasn't trying to come from a place of invalidating her experience or anything like that. But if you knew that was going to be a risk by going there, why go there? Especially when we know when it comes down to white girls and some things that y'all say, how that appears. That you don't get to make those things. Because I've heard people online call Selena Buck Wild, and you know Buck Wild from Flavor of Love, how she had that full-on wigger accent, and y'all were trying to come for her over it. But Selena did give her reasons as to why she put on the whole Chi Rodriguez Chola Benji girl type accent. And someone who is of Latin descent, if they want to play like a Benji character, they can play that. And y'all seem to forget when it comes to performance and drag, because I meant what she said to me when I brought it up. And I'm going to get to what it is about the thing. So apparently what people were trying to go for the whole Selena thing, there was a video that was floating around that they posted on Reddit that Selena did way back in the day where she was a skinny queen and she had just started out doing drag. There's a YouTube video going around called Introducing Selena Estides at Project Drag 4. Now, when you watch the video, which I don't know how long the video is, but the video basically features Selena without that infamous accent that you hear on the show. Now, it's perfectly fine because a lot of us, you know, when you go on camera, you put on a facade, you put on an act, you're performing, you're playing a character. Drag is a bunch of things. And when you look at who she's playing, she's a character. It's not like she's like Laganja, yes, mama, oh, girl, which she was doing when she was doing on the show. They were like, you're putting on an act. You're not being yourself. You're being inauthentic. Whereas as the Selena Estides character, she's a fully fleshed out character. She knows who she is now. So therefore, that's where she's going to go. So yeah, so Irene was like, I also understand that to me as a white person, I don't have the full understanding of what it really means to have to code switch. So the humor I see in it is maybe not there for other people, especially people of color. Irene says later, adding, it is one of those things that if I could go back, I probably would not have said. So when I heard that was that when the cameras were off, the girls did go and they patched things up, they worked it out, and everything is copacetic. But so, which is great. Now let me get to what Selena said when I brought it up. I was like, people are going in on her, bringing up this whole thing about, you know, the whole code switching, which I know there were a lot of white queens who do shows, drag shows, recaps. They didn't want to go there and touch that because I feel like this is what I love about being a person of color. And on top of that, a queer person of color, because we can bring nuance to things that other people cannot do because they don't understand what it's like to have the code switch. And unless you are a person of color, you don't know what it's like. But it would be nice if you could empathize and understand instead of trying to call people buck wild or you being fake or it's not that easy. So here's what Selena said, but as Jason Dupuy. And I have the post here on the side, so I can see that as well. It says, I don't mind responding to this here. I'll say for me, I have had a lot of internalized racism and shame being Latino growing up. Around this time, I was newly sober and living in predominantly white West Hollywood. Still working through my shame at the time, I made sure to speak a certain way to seem more favorable and accepted. Job interviews, men, friends, etc. During this video, I had just started doing drag and my vision of Selena wasn't fleshed out yet. I'll say I had a very profound experience when I was on the set of Vita on Stars a year later after this video. It was then, being on a set full of proud Latin people, that I had opened the conversation and finally admitted that I had been ashamed all these years. There, the work began, and the embracing of who I am as a Latin person started to flourish. I no longer had to censor the way I sound, speak, or pronounce things a certain way. I was allowed to explore and have fun with all parts of who I am. Selena Estides allows me to embrace my true self, the good, the bad, the gorgeous, and the ugly. Do I amp it up in drag? Sure. She is me on crack at 100% a real-life cartoon of a personality brought to life. I don't expect anyone or Irene to ever understand my experience and journey. That's fine, but my frustrations came from feeling constantly beat down for my experience this entire season. It is what it is, take it or leave it, but that's all I have to say. And you know what? At that point, we could leave it right where it is. You could leave it where? Back there, in the words of my girl, Vivica Fox. So yeah, that was Selena's response to one of my posts when I brought that up. And I'm glad she responded because, you know, one of the things is like, I'm always about trying to get to the bottom of things. I don't mean no ill will. I don't mean no malice when it comes to certain things. But to me, I always feel like it's easy for people to sit behind their computers and their phones and just sit and just try to to paint someone to be a certain type of way. And it's like, it's so much more than that when it comes to um, being, you know, an artist and also trying to exist as a person of color in a world that white people like to act like they're the majority, but y'all are not. Y'all made them be with the majority when it comes to the gatekeeping and businesses and corporations and nightclubs and this, that, and the third. And as people of color, we do have to kind of punch down and code switch and change up our vernacular. We do it all the time. Whenever, if you're in a work environment, you get on the phone. Yes, hello, how are you? I'm calling because I'm letting you know that you have an appointment at this time. Yeah, we'll do that, and then, yeah, motherfucker, what you want to rumble with the beat, huh? Like we have those moments. We've seen a lot of people do it. We all do it. So unless you are a person of color, you won't be able to understand what it's like. And it's unfortunate that some of us have to do that in order to coexist in a world that doesn't want us to exist in it to fucking begin with. So shout out to my girl Selena. I'm sad that you didn't have the best experience on your season. And I really would have liked in the reunion for them to elaborate more on the whole comment that she made towards Ross Matthews when she told him to kiss my ass F word. So I would have liked to. I know they apologize and everything on social media and stuff, but I would really like for them to have. And I also wonder, like, had she not done that, would she have won Miss Congeniality? Because quite frankly, when I said Malaysia Baby Doll Fox won, I'm like, huh? Y'all really didn't have a lot of choices to pick from in regards to Miss Congenial because there wasn't nobody really congenial in this damn season. But I guess because she's a pageant queen, they had to give her to somebody. But she had her moments of shade. She wasn't all that congenial. But look, it ain't my damn show, so you can give it to whoever the hell you want, okay? So did I cover everything? Oh, so then we gotta get to the Lux versus Trinity Tuck, and then we can get into the drag race thing. So then, yeah, Lux and Trinity Tuck was going through it, and basically they were feuding. I'm like, first of all, why are new queens and old queens fighting? So Lux is now, as she was, and we saw she was part of the final four of season 15, along with Anitra, Sasha Colby, and Mistress Isabel Brooks. But apparently Trinity Tuck don't particularly care for her. So she was putting up a whole bunch of tweets, and it caused, girl, first of all, why would you change your name to Caitlyn? Like, that name was tainted because of you know who. But I digress. She put a Drag Race spoiler. I mean, not really, just my opinion, but the only choice is Sasha. The end. They all have done great, though. She also went on to say, I mean, not really, just my opinion, but the only choice. Oh, yeah, I did just read that. What am I talking about? So then Lux chose. So then I guess it was another thing that was going back and forth with them because they both did Amanda Lepore during their Snatch game, which in my opinion, it was okay. Like, y'all really didn't give me Amanda Lepore. I met Amanda Lepore. A lot of us who are from New York know Amanda from the nightlife scene for eons. So when I've seen you guys, I remember when she and Sophia Lamar, they was back in the day with Patricia Field. That's how far back, the whole thing with Amanda Lepore goes. But and then at one point, I believe there was a situation that went down at a nightclub over there was some transphobic shit that went down at a nightclub, and they ended up suing them. It was a whole thing. I can't remember the exact details off the top of my head, but it was some drama that went back in the day. But anyway, so then she wound up doing Amanda Lepore during her Snatch game and talked about how Lepore hadn't been impersonated well in the past, meaning that was a dig at Trinity. Now, as the competition narrowed down to the top four, Trinity expressed that she wanted Sasha Colby, Mistress Isabel Brooks, or Nietzsche to win. And basically, that caused Lux to respond because you deliberately went out of your way to exclude her from the conversation. And so Lux wrote this: I'd be rotted too if I wasted all that money to look like that. That's what Lux tweeted. I'm sorry, but I really don't do anything yet. I'm always getting dust thrown my way. And all because I said your safe performance was safe like 10 weeks ago. Shit, girl, please. And then she wants to preach about unity and peace. Like, girl, shut up and grow up. And then, of course, they proceeded to go back and forth. It was a whole thing, child. And then Lux declared that Trinity was enabling fans to be hateful towards her, which we know happens a lot, especially when you're a white queen. When these white queens start going off, and y'all know y'all have y'all faves where the white queens can do no wrong in y'all eyes. But the minute a black queen shows any kind of confidence or any kind of, gravitas, she needs to humble herself. She's a little too arrogant, which is kind of what they said about Candy Muse. I'm currently rewatching season 13. So then she said, you only said I did great after people called you out for blatantly leaving me out or saying something shady towards me. And it enables people to send more hate. I figured you know how this works, seeing that you've been on the show like 10 times. Now, the All-Stars 4 winner replies, Sweets, I don't have to say you did great. You have a nasty attitude, and that's why I haven't rooted for you. I never said you weren't a good queen. You have done great. I just don't like you. Now, are we done? Okay, have a great night. Now, in response, Lux brought up past accusations about Trinity allegedly running a Reddit account called She Devil by Night and had a few controversial comments on the social network and said, I don't need you to say I did great, Lux tweeted, but I do need you to stop throwing sideways shots. It's obvious that you don't like me, so saying that was pointless. We are done, but you just done worse. Have a good one, She Devil by Night. And here's what I have to say on that, because it just goes on and on and on. I get that they have their points of view and they'll never come to a conclusion about it. But unfortunately, here's the thing. Detox said something when she appeared on Roscoe's the viewing party that you can watch every week on YouTube that I actually love watching, with Naysha Lopez and the other queens that's on them, and they always bring in new they always bring in drag guests every week. I know this week they have on Bosco, Pagina Heels, and Adore Delano. So I was in the middle of watching that before we did the show. But anyway, during the episode, I think it was a week before, where Detox was on, and I think I posted it on Facebook or something or another. She said something that made a whole lot of sense, which was, we have so many other things that's going on in this world right now that we need to be focusing on, like all those 300 some odd bills that are on politicians' tables that are trying to get rid of all things LGBT. It's not even just drag queens; it's trans rights. They're trying to roll back gay marriage. They're trying to do a whole lot of shit right now against us. But y'all want to have two drag queens going at it on social media over some bullshit. So while it is grist for the mill and it's entertaining for this show, that is the whole point of me bringing this up, is the fact that we have bigger fish to fry right now. We need to be focused on a lot of these drag bans and stuff that's going on. Like, I know there was a lot of things that was happening this week. Excuse me. I think in LA, not I think, it actually happened in LA. I think it was Sonique was there, Honey Davenport. Excuse me. There was a drag march that went on in LA. Shout out to my friend David Laff, who was there. He also hit me up and told me that there was a big event in Tennessee that happened a couple of days ago. I think it was like on Thursday or something or another. I spent 2 days out there. Where they drove around a bus and they did a performance, like a big fundraising performance, I think, for the ACLU. So Willem was there, Detox performed, Alaska performed, Aurora Sexton. There was a lot of, really big name drag queens that were there that performed at an event in Tennessee to raise money for the ACLU. So the girls have been out here protesting. I don't know what's going on in New York. If there's things happening in New York, let me know. But we've been out, the girls have been out here. And I know that on Drag Race, the finale last night, they did set up a whole thing in regards to like the ACLU, scan a QR code, you could donate money starting from $25 on up. I think the highest is $200 or something or another, or maybe more. But yeah, ladies, there's no need for y'all to be out here fighting and all this other shit. We have bigger fish to fry. So let's get into this Drag Race finale. Now, after everything that happened with this current season, between the cutting down the episodes and all this other stuff, I have to say, this finale was so lackluster. I was disappointed in so many ways. I was entertained, but I felt like I didn't get what I needed. Now, I did like a couple of performances. They had all four girls do an original track, and they had choreography. Only thing is, a lot of people don't know this. Well, I knew about it because I'd seen the pictures and stuff online, and also Naysha Lopez, who's on All Stars 8, was at the finale last week, and she spilled the tea, even though I already knew about it, that a dancer, there were 6 dancers they had that were performing for each girl. So they had like the 6 core dancers. They had to do all the numbers with the girls and those other stuff, including RuPaul. They had 6 dancers. One of the dancers was injured, had to be rushed to the hospital during Anisha's performance, which was the first performance of the night. I'm thinking the injury happened when they had to do the lift. They had to lift her up at one point, because I'm thinking that's where that intricate little move had to happen. So what I heard was, with each performance, the show took longer to film because when you lose one dancer, now you have to restructure the entire choreography, so that way the person who was supposed to do one thing is not there. So now you have to have the other dancers or figure out how we move things in and all that stuff. Same thing with when you look at Xscape. Now LaTocha fat ass ain't there no more. So now you gotta have one of the other girls pick up the slack. I don't know why I said she was a fat ass, even though she lost all the weight. But anyway, maybe because her attitude just rubbed me the wrong way. But I take that back. I should. That was a little shady. But anyway, so they had to restructure the dances, and I heard it happened during a lot of the performances, because after what happened during the Nietzsche thing, they had to restructure everything, working on out. The guy had to go to the hospital. They had to rework the choreography for the show, for Nietzsche's performance, because she had to redo it. Then it was like with Lux, they had to do it, and so on and so forth. My favorite performances of those individual performances, the Lotus song was okay. Mistress's performance was cute, but I definitely liked Lux's "It's Giving Fashion." It was, I don't know why it reminded me of Tim Gunn the way she was saying, but it did. But of course, once Sasha Colby got up on that stage, it was like, okay, bitch, give her the crown. But we all knew she was gonna win the crown the moment um the show start. Like the moment she walked into the workroom, it was like, okay, give her the crown. Like she won Miss Continental like over a decade ago, so it wasn't a surprise that Sasha Colby became the winner of Drag Race. So I agree. Hey Victor Yates, how you doing? So yeah, Lux did perform better. But I thought she was a dancer, so I really wasn't expecting like anything less. But yeah, she definitely did a good job. But yeah, so there was an injury that happened on the show, so they had to restructure everything. And so, but then here's the thing. So when it came down to the final two, which I already knew it was going to be Anitra and Sasha, um, that final lip sync of "Knock on Wood," which is a classic disco track, and I do live for my disco. Why was that the choice for the lip sync? Like to me, especially when we had the Lollapalooza, and we basically had that amazing performance of the Doja Cat track that they did, where they turned it out. How the hell you have them sing "Knock on Wood" or lip sync to that? It wasn't giving. And then even like the reveals and all the little tricks and stuff, it wasn't. It felt a little lackluster to me, and everything happened so fast. So I was a little disappointed with the final lip sync. But overall, it was an amazing season. I see they definitely said they pussy up with the you know with everything that was going on in regards to like the overall finale, especially like the set. I like the fact that they had like the jumbo screens and Ruth's face on all the different pictures. I mean, on all the screens during like the performance. Child, somebody get her in the studio and teach this woman how to give a stage performance. How you been in this industry for over 4 decades and that's what you be giving? That damn shared two-step. But I live for RuPaul, but girl, you would just be lazy with these performances. But anyway, so overall, it was a cute season. I'm curious to see where they're gonna go with the next season. I'm guessing, I'm hoping that we stick with the 90 minutes. And they don't try to do that other thing again. So anyway, so last but certainly not least, because damn, I was not planning on spending an hour talking about drag. There's a lot of drag tea to happen. So remember Tyra Sanchez? When now she go by King Tyra, she won season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race back in 2010. Now, you know, since then, the relationship between Tyra and Drag Race has not gone so well. I think she's kind of been blacklisted like Willem. But the shady part is, because I'm sure you see my social media where I have the picture of myself, where I posted a throwback, flashback, what do they call it? Flashback? Whatever. Anyway, so I posted on my social media a picture that I took when I lived in LA 4 years ago of myself in front of World of Wonder. I'm sure you probably know from Willem mentioning it, but right across the street is her studio. She has a studio literally across the street from World of Wonder. Also, what is next door to Willem's studio is Marco Marco's studio, which I remember one time we were doing a photo shoot in Willem's studio, and Marco and a team of his people walked by and waved. So we all waved back. It was cute. But anyway, so I do find it ultimately ultra shady that she has a studio across the street for the very people who pretty much have blackballed her. But Willem's still working, so she's good. So anyway, so yeah, Tyra basically went on Joseph Shepard's Exposed show, which I actually like Joseph Shepard. Joseph's basically doing what I used to do back in the day when I used to interview. But after I used to like, I remember when it was literally just 5 of us doing Drag Race interviews. Everybody and their mama do it. Where I was literally at the events and I would sit and this was during the season that Alaska was on and Jinx Monsoon won. It was really like 5. It was us, it was Logo, and some other people. So it really wasn't a lot of press in those days. Which has changed so much. And I remember the minute Edwards walked into the room, everybody swarmed her like bees to honey, trying to get the exclusive tea. And this is how I knew around that time, but it took a long time for her for it to get off the ground. The Netflix show that she wound up doing with the kids in the dance school and all that stuff that was supposed to be like, what's her name? Why am I thinking Tan Mom? Like Abby Lee Miller. It was supposed to be in the vein of that. So I already knew that tea way back. But anyway. So yeah, it wasn't a lot of us then, but now it's like everybody named Mamas be interviewing, the Drag Race girls. Like it was a lot of press when I went to the season 15 premiere. So one of the things that I liked about the interview, because I thought it basically humanized Tyra, it says, I don't mind people calling me Tyra saying this. So if you see Tyra out in the street, hey Tyra, he's not gonna beat your ass. Because I like when people are humble enough to say, you know what? This is who I started out as. I'll always be that person. I can't sit and tell you not to call me something. You can still call me Tyra, but I am King Tyra. And you was shown, on TV to millions of people. They also said, which I had no idea, because I know on his Twitter he goes by James Ross, which I am following him. But I had no idea. This is where I gagged when I watched this, and I don't think Joseph do either, because he said he didn't know. Yeah, Dance Moms, thank you. How Tyra's issues with Drag Race started with Michelle Visage. Now, mind you, Michelle Visage did not come on to Drag Race until, I believe, season 3. She wasn't even on Tyra's season. Tyra had Merle Ginsburg. So he said the beef between him and Michelle came from Michelle making comments about Tyra's crowning in season 2, saying that on Visage's press tour, at every stop, she made sure to say that she didn't think that he deserved to win. And that's when the Raven was robbed sentiment was created. Tyra also then brought up YouTube videos of Visage saying on record that she had, had she had been a judge on season 2 of Drag Race, the crowning would have had a different outcome. Now, Joseph did pull a quote from a 2Fab interview with Visage that read, I wasn't a judge in season 1 and 2, but if I were there, I would have fought really hard for Raven to have been the winner. Still love Tyra, but I would have fought really hard for Raven to be the winner. Now, we all know, girl, that would not have flown, because RuPaul is the one at the time, because me personally, I don't even think it's up to RuPaul anymore. I think the producers pretty much run that damn show. I believe it started out one way with Drag Race, but as the show continued to grow, Ru just there to be like, I'm here to get my check and get my Emmys and go about my day and keep fracking at the place in Wyoming. I just want to throw that in there to be shady. But for the most part, I just think I don't think Ru has as much control as they try to claim that they do. But I do believe Tyra when she said that he thinks that Ru wanted Tyra to win, because I do feel like that was Ru's decision. But producers did not want Tyra to be the representation. I think it would have been easier for NYX Cosmetics and Absolute Vodka and World of Wonder to prop up a Raven than it would have been to prop up a Tyra, because of Tyra's attitude and how she came across on the show. She is someone who I guess is similar to RuPaul's personality, which is an introvert masquerading as an extrovert. So a lot of times when you get introverts, people equate that with you have an attitude, you're shady, you're not the nicest person. So that's kind of like where people get that from, and people equate that with that. Now, I've heard people tell me that Tyra is not the nicest person. She has a nasty attitude, this, that, and the third. And she explained a couple of times in the interview that she gets overwhelmed when she's around a lot of people. So they'll pull themselves away and go, in a little dark room or whatever, and not want to be around so many people. I totally get that, because I could be in public places. I could be socially awkward at times too. I don't like being around a lot of crowds. I get a little overwhelmed and anxious when it comes to being in unfamiliar territory. So I totally get the energy and the attitude. But I don't mean you gotta be a bitch though. And then she also mentions stuff about World of Wonder writing a letter asking Tyra not to attend DragCon back in 2018. And he says that the letter stated, as it currently stands, we cannot allow you to kind of drag con in any form. We need to see you make a sincere public apology. This apology has to make it clear that you do not condone violence against another person, including other queens. And this is because of the whole thing between Tyra getting into it with Morgan McMichaels, and how Morgan was, she said, was poking her and bullying her on social media, and how Morgan has a tendency of being like, if you work with this girl, I'm going to make sure that you can't get people to come to this booking and do this, that, and the other. Because apparently, I guess at the time, Morgan had a lot of pull. Morgan has a lot of power, whatever the case was, in the world of drag. So she was denying people of being able to work with these group of people, or pulling other queens in there if they work with Tyra. So Tyra made some threats, and then drew a picture of, like, I guess, blowing up drag con, and the other people took it as a literal threat. It's like, it's just drawing. But girl, you knew what it was. Come on now. In these trying times of people being sensitive, you know you can't be playing around with stuff like that. So I totally get it. And talk about the overall racism that goes on with Drag Race from the fans. And these are things that we constantly talk about, is that the overall fighting and drag, you know, and all that other mess. So it was a lot. If you definitely have a chance, check out that interview. It was a really good interview. I know Tyra, somebody's going to be doing Club Tyra around the, you know, around the United States. Didn't mention nothing about New York dates. And how they also talked about Beyonce giving him the courage to quit his job and return to drag because of that line and Break My Soul. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so as Victor says, Morgan and Mayhem, as in Mayhem Miller, run LA and Palm Springs drag shows. So a lot of times when you have, so there's some truth basically to what Tyra's saying, is that if people work with Tyra, they're gonna make sure that if you know, they have a lot of pull and a lot of power in a lot of these places, they're gonna make sure that certain people don't get bookings if they work with them in these places. Because look, there's a lot of places in LA that, you know, there's a lot of clubs, there's a lot of bars, there's a lot of establishments you could, you know, make your coins in LA. Especially on the strip of West Hollywood, like, it's blocks upon blocks upon blocks of clubs. So you definitely make a pretty coin. So shout out to Tyra. Hopefully you're getting your life and stuff back in order, and yeah, because it's well deserved. Now, child, as we move on from this show, I mean this topic, going from drag, let's talk about Miss LaTocha Scott Bivens, girl. The fact that people keep trying to say that LaTocha was set up with doing the show, no, I don't see it. If y'all gonna sit up in here and defend this lady like her and her husband ain't some no good messy asses. Now, she did a couple of weeks ago, you know, I've done all the little recaps, the little videos, and said I'm not gonna go into a whole spiel. But the recent thing, my allergies is really bothering me. I'm coughing and I'm sneezing. I can't breathe through my nose. What the hell? But I know what it is. It's goddamn weather. Spring is officially here. It's been like 90. It's like been damn near 90 degrees in New York in freaking April. Now, you know, recently she appeared on Watch What Happens Live and denied that she and Rocky have an open marriage after she clearly said that they did. When she did an Instagram Live video. And this was after the whole situation came out about the money, Rocky stealing her sister's money. And then there was some stuff coming out about affairs, that LaTocha's husband had a whole affair on a woman, Tasha K, whose name gonna come up quite a few times in this show. Tasha K did an interview with one of the baby mothers, unique, spells it all kinds of weird. I guess trying to be unique. She had the girl on her show, and then said she was going to bring on multiple people who have had multiple affairs with Rocky. So she was supposed to bring him in. She was on there, said they had an illegitimate love child, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So LaTocha, I guess, had to go on and try to clear things up, especially, I think, after the brat dragged her on the Ricky Smiley show. When she was like, we was all scared of you back in the day. The way you came across, like you were just like you made Candy feel like she was always sad whenever y'all were together on tour, this and the other. And LaTocha with her typical, try to act oblivious to what's going on, or then will sit and try to be like, what do you mean? Like when they brought up in the finale the receipts, as in the text messages between Rocky and a promoter, how he was getting kickbacks off of the fact of getting all four girls together and gonna make LaTocha look like she the one that brought the group back. So there was a whole justification of that situation that was going on. It was a whole mess. And they brought her the receipts. They showed it. Tamika, her own sister, was like, that's Rocky's number. What do you mean? What do you mean kickbacks? What do you mean? Sis, now I'm showing you the receipts. I'm giving it to you. It's there in black and white. And you said, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Bitch, don't play with me. So there's one thing I do not like, and this is just me personally. Do not piss on my leg and tell me it's raining in the words of Judge Judy. I don't like when people sit and try to play in my face like I'm dumb. And you keep saying it over and over and over again, you're going to have me cause doubts. I'm not going to cause the doubts. The evidence is there. They dotted the I's, crossed the T's, this other stuff. My thing is, okay, so you're going to do all these things. That's fine. But don't be messy about it. Don't be sneaky about it. And that, I think, is the overall issue that I've had with LaTocha. You can have the solo deal. There's nothing wrong with recording a solo gospel album. But fulfill your obligations with Xscape. I don't know why you can't do both. That's 2 checks. You only want to do 1 check? So you want to bank on a solo career that may or may not work, depending on sales, because sales ain't what they used to be. But then quiet as it's kept, it ain't that hard to sell in the world of gospel. But I feel like with all the stuff coming out, would the gospel community support a LaTocha? Knowing all of this evidence that came out, like you went and did a reality show, and then the funny part was when Rocky was up there stuttering, like I turned, when they brought up the stuff about stealing the money. Oh, you can't forge a check. You can't. Yes, you can. You can do all kinds of scamations. People have been getting away with them white collar crimes since the dawn of time. Like I don't know how you gonna sit up here and try to act brand damn new. And then on top of that, there's ways you can sign somebody's signature and you can take screenshots. Like these days, you can take the phone, you can do screenshots, you can upload checks to the phone. I figured as much. The gospel album's not selling. And I feel like it wasn't. Here's the thing, and I mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. But while all this was coming out, and the worst part, she dropped the damn album on a good damn Friday. What was so good about that damn Friday? You had to drop that damn album on that day? So you drop a gospel album, the music, child, when they said that it sounded like some out of a Tyler Perry play, I cackled. Basic. Them songs sounded dated. The production sounded tired. And to me, when I look at LaTocha is not somebody that, in my opinion, gives me someone that, you don't give me solo artists. You are a singer, excuse me, who is better as part of a group than apart. The problem is you listen to that stupid ass husband of yours who keeps blowing all that smoke up your ass and telling you that you're better than these girls. Got you running around with a whole entourage like you Mariah Carey, but you bowling on a Kelly Price budget. So I don't understand how you out here trying to act like you got all this money. That man gonna run you in the red before this gospel album hits the end of the year. So the music's not selling. And in my opinion, the way you treated these girls and the way you've done some sneaky undercutting shit with all of them in regards to stealing money and showing up late and the attitude every time I'm like, you're gonna show up for rehearsal, you're gonna do this. Well, I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. I'll think about it. Like when you come in with that dismissiveness, I don't want to have to keep reliving this. Like to me, if you look at it, Tiny and Candy do not need Xscape. I'm sure it's a cute little coin that they can make that they get to travel and relive those nostalgic R&B singing days. Especially, look, That type of R&B ain't really doing what it did. It's not selling like it did when I was growing up in the 90s and the 2000s. That type of genre of R&B ain't what it is no more. Now it's all about SZA and these other girls. So for the nostalgic factor and the fact that a lot of you girls in your mid to late 40s, it is what it is. But you know what? I don't feel bad for LaTocha, and I'll say that. Well, I do kind of. And you know what? Another thing, I hated that people was comparing her marriage to Wendy Williams and Kelvin. Here's the thing: Wendy Williams, I don't think was brainwashed when she was with Kelvin. Kelvin was a good manager for her. He got her a lot of shit, bulldozing and scaring people and bullying his way into getting this woman the things she needed. But when it was time for her to hatch a plan and walk away from that man, Miss Mamas did it because she's a Cancer. And now Kelvin is where he is now, broke, threatening to sue Tasha K. I'm going to get into that. So next topic. LaTocha is so caught up in the matrix of just doing whatever this man tell her to do and kissing her mother ass and them doing all the shady shenanigans. And I don't really feel like she wants a relationship with her sister. She wants a sister who's going to just be a yes person and kiss her ass and just go along with whatever, because she knows Tamika's in a situation where she's always going to have to fight for the love of her mother and her sister and is never going to get it. And as someone who has cut off family members, including my brother, I could tell you for a fact, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. So if you need to walk away from someone and cut people out of your life that are toxic, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to protect your sanity and your own happiness and your well-being. So Tamika, you keep doing what you're doing with Xscape 3. LaTocha gonna sit and crash and burn and fall down into the things, and I don't want to wish ill will stuff on her, but I see it happening. You need to get away from that man. You need to leave Rocky alone. Rocky don't care about you. Rocky is trash. He is not a good manager. Not only for you, for anybody. Well, I don't think he really manages anybody besides his wife. But he's also someone who I think is a sociopath and a manipulator. He is manipulating his wife. He knows all her triggers. He knows her insecurities. And he's playing on that. And we've seen it play out on the show. Her insecurities of being like, yeah, you a solo artist. You don't need them. He said it many times in the show. You don't need them girls. You're better than them. He alluded to it so many times. So he's playing up this thing into her head because Tasha got an ego. She thinks she's Beyonce. But you don't have that X factor that a Beyonce has, where she can step out of a group and be the icon that she is, or the legend. I wouldn't say icon. Yeah, she a legend. Give her 10 more years, then we'll say icon. You know, I usually like to be like, if you lasted at least a good 3 decades, then I can give you the icon status. So yeah, look, good luck to you, LaTocha, because you definitely gonna need it. Because it's giving delusions. She is very delusional. But I'll say to wrap this up, if this album flops, which according to Victor, the album is not selling, if Xscape invites her back into the group, y'all are some damn fools. And you get everything that's coming, that's gonna come to you on the negative front. Because if someone continues to gaslight and be like, you know what, I don't need, I'm successful when the going is great. I don't need y'all. But when I need a check, we need to get everything back. We need to get the gang back together. But then now everything is going good. I don't need the group. Now I'm gonna go solo. And it's the second time she did this. I would not bring her back to the group. Y'all giving her enough chances. I wouldn't bring her back. So, whatever, girl. Bye. So, let's get into my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? So, Wendy's been going through it. I've been hoping and rooting for her to get her shit together, but at this point, it's just like, girl, whatever. I feel like I'm just watching a damn train wreck happening. And it is what it is. And I think it's just, there's nothing we could do about it. I just feel like we're just watching a train crash in motion. And it's like, we're just sitting there just watching the whole thing. And there's people that believe this is an act. This is all a ruse. I don't. I think the woman is going through some shit. I think she has lost her marbles since, the whole Kelvin divorce, the drinking and the drugs, the self-medication and all other stuff. Plus on top of that, her own personal ailments, with the lymphedema and all that other stuff. So there was a story that came out because I told you about the townhouse that I had got some inside tea before, but I wanted to know more, a little more. So page 6 of the article, and I read on it. But I had gotten wind 2 days prior that Wendy Williams was at the townhouse in the West Village getting drunk with some friends, and then had to say to security, "You know who I am, girl. We know who you are." So according to page 6, they said that, her actual close friends are concerned over the company she's been keeping in her life at the moment, saying that she doesn't have many real friends, but the few that are coming around are causing some concern for the people that truly do care for her. The real concern is when she has people over her house. She has jewelry and designer purses laying around. Now, we did hear that she's selling off her personal belongings in her New York City penthouse, but I don't know what's been going on with that. And people are saying like she's not in the best state of mind, so unfortunately, people will take advantage. So there's that. Then there was a story that came out a couple of days ago where her brother Tommy is slamming, the former talk show host team for having his sister film a reality show, knowing full and well she's not in the right mental state of mind and the physical state to be doing a reality show. Now, the word on the street is it's not a reality show. That is some sort of type of I don't know. It might be a docuseries reality show. I don't know what the fuck it is. I guess we'll find out when it airs, which they said it's going to be later this year. But anyway, before we get to this Wendy T about her brother and what he had to say, let's roll this clip of Wendy Williams. How you doing?
I'm shopping for kitty litter because I have a wax museum in Paris and one in California. And so I'm going to spend a week in Paris and then 3 weeks in California and then immediately fly back.
Oh.
And then I want to be on TV, stuff like Seth Meyers, Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, The View, stuff like that.
That's good, yeah.
I'm formally retired. Fine, perfect. Anyway, they're older, so they use science diet and all that stuff.
Well, shout out to LA Gossip over at TikTok for that little clip. But yeah, so she doesn't seem like she's upside of mind. We've been saying this for the longest. Like, I've been following Wendy's career since the beginning. Like, I am a Wendy Nista. I'm someone who is a fan. I'm someone who I feel like in the way of my delivery of this show, there's so many people that I have looked up to that have inspired me to do what I do. And I've been doing this for a long time. Wendy Williams is one of the people that I've always looked up to as seeing like someone who's a person of color. She's a woman who is basically started doing celebrity news and gossip long before there was a TMZ, long before there was all these other people that was out here doing it. The press, Hilton, and myself, there was Wendy Williams. And she was pulling from magazines. She was pulling from the sources that she had. And she was not only talking about Hollywood as a whole, but she was talking about hip hop. So Wendy is a pioneer in this game, and so many people have tried to imitate and do what she does and mimic what she does. But in this state, I feel for her, and I really want her to get the help she needs, but I don't think she has anybody, and it's unfortunate. Not even her own damn family, because while it's great that we're hearing that, Tommy is concerned, I don't know if I believe him. I feel like this is like you going to social media and bringing this up. I don't know if I like I want to be Team Tommy on this. Like he's genuinely concerned for his sister, but y'all been real silent about what's been going on with Wendy for a long time until she came out to Florida to finally see y'all. Maybe he was quiet. Maybe he was silent about the whole thing because he hadn't seen his sister in a year. He hadn't been able to have any kind of contact or be able to infiltrate the compound. And maybe he felt like this was the only way that he could see his sister, that he could have any kind of contact. I don't know. But apparently, yes, he was in the reality show. He and his elderly father filmed with the former daytime talk show host. I even saw video footage of them on a boat together. Wendy off in the far corner. He kept panning his camera over to her, I guess showing everybody that his sister was there with them. So you have a problem with reality cameras filming your sister, but then you pull out your phone and start filming your sister. So what? It's okay if it's family? I'm confused. So here's what he told the Sun, because the Sun apparently is his favorite go-to gossip site. This is not a woman who is in the right frame of mind to get a show going. This is with Tommy, 54, wonder why the film crew was even there. Why are you even here? Do you see the condition she's in? Does it look like she's ready to start a podcast, for goodness sake? It doesn't. And we are all going to bear witness to this. This guy, Will, is ponying Wendy around, travel here, travel there. Let's go make this money. And I don't care if you're making sense because everybody knows who you are, he says, referencing Wendy's manager, Will Selby. And the shock value is going to be where she was and where she is now, Tommy questioned while motioning his hands. Is that going to be the show? Is that it? Is that what my dad has to look forward to watching, to shove our face in the effing manure? Tommy says the crew has a lot of footage for the reality show and says whatever they do with it, they're going to do. It's going to be sad. He added that while he was frustrated at the production, he isn't mad at his sister for any of it. I can't blame Wendy for anything. I want her to get better. She is not better, so I can't be mad at her for any of this. Tommy also expressed concern over how this production would impact Wendy in the future. So it comes out and what happens if Wendy is doing much, much better, right? Who wants these kind of memories? Who wants this? Why couldn't she just get better all the way and then do something? All this time, people have been kicking her around. She can't be contemplating ish because she can't think it through. So other people are thinking things through for her. And all this time, she could have been down here recovering. Wendy's frustrated brother called the current condition sad and added that she's in poor health. In a response to a request for comment, Wendy's manager Will said, Tommy didn't say a word to me about any frustration, so that doesn't sound true. Tommy claimed that Wendy's manager did not introduce himself or speak to him or their father while they filmed. Wendy's publicist did not respond to a request for comment. Now, Tommy did post a video on his YouTube channel in between filming days about how things were going, but insisted he was trying to stay positive as the days went by. So yeah, Wendy was in Miami with the father and the brother filming the reality show. They said not only was Wendy's camera crew along for the trip, but the main stakeholders of the project were with her as well. I don't know what's going to happen with this, but I do feel like this is a bad idea. Because I don't know, is it me or am I mistaken? But I could have sworn Wendy said she would never film a reality show. She always said that's not in her wheelhouse. Like if she was to ever do a reality show, when she did entertain it for like a moment on her talk show, she said that she would do like a guest appearance on The Housewives, like The Housewives of Miami or something or another. She did say she would do that, but she never said that she would actually sit and do a full-on reality show. So I don't know what this is. I don't know what it is that y'all trying to put together. Y'all been talking about she's doing a podcast 1 minute. Now she's not doing a podcast. Now the podcast is on. I don't know what to believe anymore. It doesn't take much to put together a podcast. All you got to do is get you some equipment, stick a microphone in front of her face, and give her like, okay, these are the hot topics and stuff that's going on, and you get a producer, a cameraman, phones, and and produce everything with two people. Like with this show, it's me and my producer. That's it. We don't have a whole lot of bells and whistles. I got my ring light. I got two lights actually on me as we speak. Microphone, my headphones, my webcam. You can set up everything in a way where you don't really need to spend a shit ton of money. It's not that hard to put a podcast together if you hire the right people or person to handle all the stuff. Because me, I told you, I did the film school thing, I did the technical stuff. I don't have the patience. I'd rather just be a producer in talent. Run my mouth and have my notes. I was thinking that it was probably going to be a docu-series because I can't see it being a reality show. Like if I think when I think reality show, I think being Bobby Brown. Like I was thinking it was going to fall in that territory. And they did say that Wendy did film some stuff at her old childhood home in Ocean Township. So we'll see. And then good luck, Wendy. I really want you to get better. I'm really rooting for you. But I don't know. It's just so hard because every week is always something. And I don't want to turn this into another year where every week we talk about Wendy Williams. I really don't. Because, child, I told her I could do a 2-hour video where production could pull together all the Wendy clips that we've done in the past 2 years on this lady. It could be a whole episode. But anyway, so from Wendy to her ex-husband, Kelvin. So he denied allegations made against him by a singer by the name of Avion Foster. Now, I saw this clip resurface it again, and I was like, is it a slow news week? Because there was a video that was going around where Tasha K interviewed Avion. I guess because this is from 2019. Because I remember people saying, I'm like, this is old. I remember this. But I think what is happening now because of the whole drama that happened with Cardi B, where she owed her money and still ain't pay her the $4 million. $4 million? That was Oda Mae Brown from Ghost. You know, I love doing that line. But anyway. So she still has to pay up for this whole thing. This video is resurfacing, but I think it's because Tasha K is moving stuff from her YouTube channel to her own website. Because I guess that's the way she's making her money now, which, quiet as is kept, that's my next move too. I didn't know Tasha K was doing this, but that was something that I'm working on too, is moving all my content to chrisavalon.com. So that way you keep your own intellectual property. As some of us call in the biz IP. So in the interview, Foster alleged it wasn't just a sexual relationship, because here's the thing, he said he had sexual relations with Kelvin. He said it was much more than an abusive relationship. It was much more of a put me down and keep me as your boy toy relationship. We did have sex. He came over and practically raped me at 3 o'clock in the morning. And Kelvin is not pleased with the accusations against him. And he said he's ready to take legal action. Here's what he said. I am preparing for a defamation lawsuit. Anybody that knows me, and this is no disrespect to the LGBTQ community, they know where I'm at with it. I am a straight alpha male. I thought Wendy was a straight alpha male, but I digress. According to Kelvin Hunter, when the interview with Foster first took place, he chose to ignore it because it came out at a time when he was in the middle of his divorce from Wendy. He said, everyone was trying to discredit my character at the time, and Foster has since said he's sorry. As for Tasha K, Kelvin said he had a message for her. I am preparing my legal team because 3 years later, she wants to unearth something that is inaccurate because why? It's a slow Friday. Now, Wendy's ex claimed he was helping to develop Foster as an artist and that the business relationship eventually went left. Kelvin said he believed the interview was re-released because his famous ex-wife has been in the news lately. Now, at the time of the allegations were initially made, Page Six spoke to an attorney for Kelvin who said the claims levied by Mr. Avion Williams against Kelvin Hunter are baseless and are completely false. Mr. Williams' actions are part of an elaborate scheme to extort money from Mr. Hunter and is nothing more than the attempt to shake him down for financial gain. Well, I don't know what you plan on getting because isn't Kelvin broke? He's trying to file some paperwork because apparently his wife can no longer pay him money to alimony and it's that and the third because it was going on. Her money's all caught up with Wells Fargo and it's that and the third. So um there's that. So it is what it is. I don't know. Oh, so they also said this office did not offer to settle the matter for any amount, or nor we counter their offer as, in accordance with our own independent investigation of these claims, we determined that Mr. Williams' claims were left without merit, and we will not allow our client to be extorted by Mr. Williams. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I don't know if I believe this. Do I get gay vibes from Kelvin? No, not really. Child, we don't want to look. There are people in our community, and we're just gonna speak on it. Well, I'll speak on it. We don't want to claim everybody. We really don't. Speaking of which, damn, I was supposed to watch the Monique comedy special. It was so much going on today. I've been meaning to watch Monique's comedy special. I will give my thoughts on it next week. But I haven't gotten around to it. Like, I know everybody was talking about it. I want to talk about the whole bisexual thing. But I heard it was really good, and I definitely want to check it out. Sidebar, I am curious how much money was she paid for this? Because remember when she had the whole issue with Netflix and the lowballing and stuff? I wonder if she got a good check from that. But anyway, so here, look. Tasha, who I like to call Trashy K, because she is trash, and transphobic, and homophobic. I don't care what the bitch say. She is. I don't like how people conduct and do business. I don't like people who sit and make up lies about artists because you want a moment on your show. You want to go viral because you love, all that drama and all that other shit too much. Now, I'm sure she did a phenomenal job talking about Rocky, with Rocky Bivens' alleged baby mother, and you've done some pretty good interviews. But the way she goes about doing certain things is just nasty and messy, and I do not like people like that. And I don't like being in the business talking about other bloggers. But she must really like getting sued, because I guess now that Cardi B laid down the gauntlet and won, now everybody feels like, oh, we could go after her. And rightfully so. Because if you're going to constantly keep bringing up videos and discrediting me as a person and making up lies and going by, okay, someone on here claiming that I had sexual relationships with someone and I was abused by them and I was just there to just be a hole for you to use, that is a defamation of character. But I feel like maybe the reason why Kelvin is low-key going for this lawsuit is because he needs money. He's, struggling to pay those bills. He's not getting any money from his ex-wife, which I'm sure he was banking on, with the whole Sharina situation. He thought he was just going to live the lavish, the fabulous, lavish life for the rest of his life. But Wendy was like, I got a plan. And, she's good at hatching a plan. Do we have any commercials or no? I don't know if we discussed it. I know you've been having like technical problems and this and the third. But if you don't, it's fine. I can continue to go on. We could probably make time with all these. Oh, we do. I was like, well, child, we may have to go over because it's been a minute since we've been back. I got a lot of tea spilled, child. That's the good thing about being on the internet. We could talk about stuff and go on as long as we want. Now, child, I ain't doing a 4-hour show. Although, who knows? Maybe down the road if I want to do like a big radio show. Remember like back in the day? Well, maybe still, because there's people that do like 4-hour shows. I've been seeing people on YouTube that do like 4, 6, 8 hours. I'm like, what y'all talking about? It's a lot. But bitch, I could spill some tea and I could go on. Or as Captain America says, I could do this all day. Okay, so let's move on. So good luck, Calvin. I don't know if you're going to be able to get some money out of this. First of all, isn't it going to be way more expensive to file a lawsuit than actually get money back? So I don't know. I'll follow the story up and see as it develops. But you know what? People just be out here spread like, look, I don't know nothing about Kelvin's sex life, nor do I want to imagine him hunching no man. I don't. And like I said, we don't want to claim everybody. Like we don't claim that trans Judas, Caitlyn Jenner. We don't claim her. But I'm not going to misgender her because I don't like her. Oh, so what's the next one? Oh, let's talk about B. Scott versus Andy Cohen. Child, I was looking forward to this topic because I got a lot to say. And then we're going to do Madonna, and then we'll take a break. So B. Scott, whose website I absolutely love, but yeah, she's a pioneer in I know she goes by they them pronouns, but girl, you give me fish, I'm calling you she. Okay. But I like B. Scott. I follow a lot of what she does. She is a pioneer in this game. Same as I and Perez Hilton. Like, we all came up together in the whole blogger game. But this was back when I don't even know if B. Scott was around when I was doing my blogs. When Chris Avalon was around, I was doing Blogspot, child. And then I went into having the chrisavalon.com website, and then I didn't keep up with it. And then I did another free blog or whatever the case was. And then I relaunched the chrisavalon.com blog, and now I'm doing it official full time. So B. Scott appeared on the Breakfast Club because, you know, they're looking for a replacement for Angela Yee. I heard they're looking at Nene Leakes. I hope it's going true. Yeah, we'll get to the clip in a second, but let me set it up. So, she spilled some tea about the Real Housewives of season 15, which I didn't know that B. Scott was the one who was given exclusiveness to the trailer before. Thank you. I did not know that B. Scott is given the exclusive Real Housewives of Atlanta trailer, I think like 2 or 3 hours before everybody else could upload it. So she gets an exclusive. And what she said was the reason why is because she was going in some back and forth shit with Bravo, and she was spilling a lot of tea about the housewives, and people weren't watching the show. So she was getting all the exclusive from people she knows that's working on the show, probably people that are part of the cast, as well as people who work behind the scenes. So she was getting stuff. Even this season, it's going to be explosive. Apparently, Drew Sidora was having a lesbian situation with one of the girls on the show, and it was caught on a hot mic, and she actually had a recording. So she spilled that. Also revealed on the show how Portia, well, I like to call Horsha, not only went after that African. She's, we know she went after Fallon X and wanted to be secure and had the money and all other shit. She did some low down shady shit. And also, Portia had sex with Bolo, the stripper. Remember Stripper Gate? Big old dude. Mm-hmm. She gave him some of that cootie cat. She gave him that Georgia peach. Sure did. B. Scott revealed that as well. So she be getting exclusives. Which is why she also said that Nene has her blocked and Portia has her blocked. She said Nene and her were close friends, but then Nene pulled that shit. Oh, we not friends. I don't know her. Nene has a tendency of doing that a lot. When she's close to people, and then she want to play in their face. Remember when Wendy did that to her one time and she really got in her feelings about it? So it's okay for you to do it and do the whole I don't know her, but when Wendy cussed your ass out because you try to put her on Instagram Live, you got in your feelings because you thought that was your friend. Like Andy Cohen, they have no friends. This is business, no hard feelings. Y'all get to it in your feelings. But anyway, so one of the things she said that really got me, because she was spilling the stuff on there, and I would love for them to have like someone who is maybe LGBT hosting or taking over for Angela. We need more spaces for us to be on it. Look, I told you I got an idea that I wanted to. First of all, the original Queer Breakfast Club, lest we forget, the Do Dirty show. That was the Breakfast Club before the Breakfast Club was the Breakfast Club. How you had an openly gay Charlemagne, who was the head. As quiet as it's kept, the show is Charlemagne. Then you had Seduction, the porn star. Sometime was Miss Cisco Vegas, who kind of brought me into, and this is not me being biased, kind of brought me on. It was like the references on my blog and stuff. They use a lot of my stuff to get all the exclusive tea that they talked about with the entertainment news and things. So yes. Then you had Seduction, the porn star, who came on, had his point of view. Then you had Splash T, who was the sole female who came on and said her piece, was like the Angela Yee. So that format existed. We had that shit. We need to bring it back though. in some other form. I don't know if he want to do it. I know you watch it, girl. I don't know if he want to do it, but you know. But anyway, so I digress to say, the one thing that really got me going with this was when B. Scott brought up this shit about Andy Cohen, and I was here for it. Where she basically, oh, well, it's funny how everybody discovered me through DJ. You know, that's what Victor said. The Do Dirty Show was his favorite show. Well, look, there weren't a lot of people doing, from a black gay point of view, what, you know, speaking that, you know, like I said, black, gay, queer, whatever point of view. We didn't have that. So anyway, but he was a pioneer in his time. But he stepped away for his own reasons. We've had that conversation. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, so one of the things I like about what B. Scott said was, to get to the point, because, you know, I like to go around the world and how she said that Andy Cohen is not fit to host these reunions. Now, I'm not saying all the reunions. I'm talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and Potomac, particularly when it comes to issues of colorism, racism, or things that black women deal with that you as a white gay man will never understand. So we're going to play this clip, and I'm going to give my overall thoughts when we come back from y'all watching said clip. Only.
Yeah. And to be honest, you know, why are we letting the chopper fly? Andy Cohen does not need to be hosting the reunions for black shows.
Talk that talk.
He does not have the cultural relevance. And it's not me being disrespectful to Andy Cohen, but you can't use your white privilege to sit there and talk down to people who need that job, especially black women.
Okay.
And because he doesn't have the finesse. You can't finesse our culture. Either you're a part of it or you're not.
And Andy can choose not to make that decision because he's an executive producer all of that.
He's EP.
Absolutely.
So B. Scott should be hosting the reunion show.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because no one has an extensive, you know, history with the Housewives as I do.
It doesn't have to,
clearly a love for the franchise.
I do.
But it doesn't have to be a reunion show. It could be like a show every week, a recap show. It doesn't have to be a reunion, a recap show.
I like where this is going.
Talk about.
I know Carlos King was trying to do something where he was talking to the housewives about the stuff with, you know, all that. But Carlos King is basically Andy Cohen in blackface. Like, he gives me a whole lot of that. I don't like him, just like I don't particularly give Andy Cohen. They seem like very much culture vultures and opportunists. But I get it. That's what you do when you're a producer in this industry. Sometimes you got to be like a shark in some water. When you smell that blood, you got to go for it. So I totally get it. But them two give me like two peas in a pod, which makes sense because Carlos was a producer on the Atlanta Housewives. But going into what B. Scott said, I do agree with that. Do I think Andy will step away as a moderator? No. First of all, let's point this out, and let's be clear. Andy needs to thank Nene Leakes for giving him the idea in the first place of doing reunions. Reunions, Watch What Happens Live, was a Nene Leakes idea because remember, season 1 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, the reunion was called Watch What Happens. Go back and watch it. It says it in the title over on Peacock, because that's where all the episodes are, or whatever you have. The finale, actually the reunion episode, because I think it was 7 episodes, season 1, it said Watch What Happens. That's what they called it. Then it morphed into the whole reunion thing. Nene also gave the idea for the girls' trips that a lot of the queens went on. So Nene was given all these ideas, but sis, you didn't protect your IP. You going to Andy thinking Andy your friend. Andy is an executive producer at the end of the day. So if you have an idea, and this is a live and learn situation. If you have an idea, you got to make sure you copyright it. You got to go through the proper channels, make sure that you own that shit. And that if this man is going to continue to use whatever he's using, you get a percentage. She ain't do that. So now this man running around with all her ideas and she out of a job. Over at a network that she's about she don't want to be a part of. But then she keeps going back and forth with whether or not she wants to be there or not be there. Now, saying this thing about B. Scott, I do agree that I don't think... Do I think he needs to bring on someone else? I think depending on the topics, like if there's anything that is about colorism, racism, those type of situations, he needs another person there that is a person of color, that is a person that is someone. Cause look, there's enough people on social media that recap these damn reality shows. You can bring a Funky Dineva on if you don't want to bring on B. Scott if she's problematic. He watches these housewives. He's friendly with a couple of these women. I don't think he would be biased. Like, he'll offer some things. You can find somebody who does these recaps and come into not that pre-asked question crap. These are the questions you want to know, or you think the people want to know, but you're not asking the real questions the fans want to know. So that I don't agree with. I don't like that pre-packaged question shit that he likes to do, because all them questions come through him. He try to act like these are questions these people on social media be asking. They don't be asking them questions. This is Andy Cohen. He's the micromanager. Now, it would be great if he had a B. Scott that was up there, because it's like when it comes to certain things, yeah, you cannot do what he did with Potomac last season, which was he had the women during the segment when they were talking about colorism. Oh, I don't have the vernacular to speak on this, so I'm gonna just sit back and let y'all handle it. You got these clucking hens sitting across each other, trying to make a whole situation work out amongst themselves. That is a horrible idea. You can't get a Giselle and the rest of them and a Candace and all of them having a logical conversation about colorism and race. Light skin versus dark skin. No, that's not how that works. You need to bring someone in who can moderate and really speak on these things. Maybe during them sequences, you need to bring Iyanla on the show. Maybe you can bring her on and have them do like a full segment on that. You could bring another party in to be on that, but Andy's ego, he don't want nobody upset him. And don't bring no damn Nicki Minaj. Y'all did the whole thing with Nicki Minaj. That shit did not work out. I didn't like them bringing her on. It was cute to see her there, and you could fangirl and all that other mess. And she was being messy with her questions, because that's Nicki. But you need to bring someone on that could really be fair. I also don't like how Andy goes around and he's too personable with these women. They've got his number. Like when I was watching the episode with Melissa Gorgon on there, which based on that episode I saw with Melissa and Joe and how she snapped at Melissa. I mean, how Melissa snapped at him about, you're not a PhD, you're not a doctor, you can't, like, in so many ways. But he's like, but I've been doing this for 15 years. I think I know what the F I'm doing, blah, 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 so on and so forth, being like with the moderating. No, you don't. Yeah, you've been doing the job for so long, but there's some biases there. And I don't believe Andy Cohen is racist. He likes the brown peanuts. He likes the twinks and the booger sugar, allegedly. But one of the things that I will say is that I don't think he's racist. I do think he has racial blind spots. I do think that as a white gay man, there are microaggressions that comes out at times, because I don't understand how the hell Vicky Gunvalson gets to come back after suing Bravo, but she withdrew the lawsuit. But you had her on Ultimate Girls Trip, the one at the Berserkshires, and then you brought her back for season 4, which hasn't aired yet because we're currently in season 3 with Horsha and the rest of them. So you brought her back for the next Ultimate Girls Trip where they're going outside the country because she bitched and moaned to the fact that they had to go to Dorinda's place, but you didn't have them go on trips like everybody else. So white privilege. So you bring this problematic broad back, but Nene can't come back? And don't get me wrong, Nene, in my opinion, when I was watching over the years, she checked out of the show. She refused, she shuts down, she refused to participate when it came down to certain things. She refused to take accountability for a lot of things that she said and did on the show. It was everybody's fault except hers. Then she got disrespectful with production, ripping the man's shirt because he went and started filming in the closet, which everybody knows when you do a reality show, one person go to the room is fine. 2 or more, the camera has to film what's going on, because of multiple people going into a room. I got to pick that up and be like, what's going on? But she pulled the band, ripped his shirt, trying to get everybody. But I understand she was going through it at the time, but still no excuse because of Greg. Greg was with the cancer and all the other stuff. So overall, I say this the same. Andy Cohen, I do not see him in that ego stepping aside and let anybody else host those reunions. I do feel like he has gotten complacent. I do feel like it's because when you do a job for so long, it's not challenging. So maybe somebody needs to light a fire under his butt. Or did. And bring in someone who can he can ping pong off of. Or during certain segments, have somebody else comes in that understands. Because as a white man, yeah, you will never understand what it's like to be black or a woman. I know gay men feel like because remember when Kim said I'm a black woman trapped, I'm a white woman trapped in a black woman's body or something or another, what she said. So when you have those type of things, when you say that there was a lot of problematic things, and I do believe that Bravo, there's some racist undercurrents and stuff that goes on there. But I feel like now we're saying all this and now we're dealing with it because of where we're at in society. Meaning like Me Too, time's up. People are now aware and people are speaking up. So I don't know. I'm sure this will go on and on. The reunions, I kind of I don't really particularly care for them, although I must say, I know they're about to film the Real Housewives of New Jersey reunion this week coming up. That is a reunion I'm looking forward to. With all the drama that's been going on with Teresa and her brother, which has been going on for years, and all the explosive that's going on, and the rumors are going around that Melissa and Joe, this might be their final season. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how this reunion plays out and if the rumors become true. And shout out to Kim D and David Yontef over at Behind the Velvet Rope podcast. I love that podcast. And shout out to him for commenting on one of my posts earlier. Well, on a post I wrote on his about the recap. I definitely love their Jersey Housewife recaps and everything. I shout out all the bloggers. I'm watching and I'm checking y'all. Although I have what I got going on over here. I watch my peers. It's no shade. So let's get to this Madonna story, then we can take a break. So Madonna apparently is so concerned about what critics have been saying about her face that she's looking to go back to her natural looks before she hits the road for her highly anticipated world tour. Now, this is according to Daily Mail, so let's take this with a grain of salt. The 64-year-old music icon sparked a wave of plastic surgery speculation after she was seen modeling a drastically different look at the 2023 Grammy Awards back in February. And while Madonna was quick to slam the critical comments about her looks while denying any plastic surgery rumors, behind the scenes, an insider says she was deeply affected by the criticism and is taking steps to ensure that she returns to her more natural self before hitting the stage for her first concert on July 15th. Despite what people think, the criticism over her drastically different appearance does affect her, the source revealed to dailymail.com, adding that Madonna is currently undergoing procedures that would restore her natural looks. She sees and hears what people say about her, and for the tour, she wants to look more like herself again for her fans. And Madonna's famous face is not only the only thing that fans will be treated to when she steps out on stage for her 80-show tour. According to the source, the chart topper and mother of six is also planning to enlist her children, Lourdes 26, Rocco 22, David 17, Mercy 17, and 10-year-old twins Stella and Esther in her shows. With this insider revealing, she'll be bringing them along on tour and will include them in the show. Well, it's because it's summertime, so she could bring the kids around. Then it was also comments brought up in the article about her being a perfectionist and is sparing no expense or effort for the tour because she knows it may be her last, saying that Madonna is really turning it out. She's in incredible shape and is going to kill it with this tour. It may be her last tour, so she wants to make it perfect. She is in incredible shape and her body is sick. So is her labor of love. Her perfectionism is driving everyone up the wall, but she does not care. The crew is working their ass off because everyone wants to make her happy. She has no issues whatsoever with firing someone at the drop of a hat. Now, in terms of the visual aesthetics of the show, the insider tells Daily Mail that she chose to work with a clean slate. She wanted younger dancers, and she is using a fresh crew this time around. Madonna likes creative people who can take direction, and she is usually not one to take suggestions and knows what she wants. Well, if it's her tour and her name is on the marquee, she should know what the hell she wants in regards of her tour. And my thing is, She's a Leo. Like, I'm a Virgo. We are perfectionists to a fault. I'm very anal when it comes to my work ethic and wanting things to be perfect and all other stuff. So she definitely can't change her look. I used to work for a dermatologist that is plastic surgery. Here's the thing. I actually was like, didn't she get like, I thought she got like a lot of fillers and Botox and lip injections. Now, I don't know. I'm confused. Is that ass real or those butt pads? Like, remember in the first season, the pilot, actually, I should say, of Queer as Folk, where the man had the ass pads, and he took when he was like stalking Michael, and he took the ass pads out and the fake penis prop, and he started removing all these things. Like, I'm thinking, is that Madonna too, or did she actually go to like some chop shop in Mexico or Colombia and get like a fake booty? Now, here's the thing. I actually know somebody who knows a good plastic surgeon down in Colombia. Because I was having this conversation that there was an article that said that men are spending $40,000 to get plastic surgery, like get their dad bods all zhuzhed up, and they're coming out looking like Drake, because you know the rumors about her and the plastic surgery. And I was like, you know what? I probably would go under, like, if I had that kind of money where I was just like, okay, now I'm gonna just go on the night. I'd entertain the idea of like, okay, I'm feeling a little lazy. I might want to get a little lipo here, some fake abs put in, like Mariah. Remember when Mariah had the abs drawn on? That was a cackle. I was like, girl, why would you do that and then go on camera and we could clearly see they drawing that damn six pack? And she thought we were so stupid that we wouldn't have figured it out. But I was thinking, I was like, you know what? Because I'm wondering, because now Vic was saying that, because I always thought like when you do filler, if you stop putting it in your face, it'll eventually go down. Like Joy Behar says about how she gets Botox on The View, and she looks fine to me, but I know she's not doing crazy stuff. So yeah, it could be that she's doing. My thing was, I always thought she was getting all this crazy ass. What do you call it? Like, I thought it was just like crazy filters or whatever. But look, she out here looking crazy. I don't know if it can be reconstructed. I don't think they could be changed. I'm thinking maybe this story isn't true. Now that, well, I didn't think this story really was that true to begin with. But now that we have somebody in the comments who's talking about how that's full on plastic surgery, it's like, well, girl. Here's the thing also. If you're someone who is like one of the wealthiest pop stars on the planet, not as wealthy, and this is surprising to me, someone who's been around 40 years, Rihanna is actually wealthier than her, because she's a billionaire. It's probably because Rihanna has other endorsement deals, not just the music career that she solely depends on. Whereas Madonna's done little things and gone into other business ventures and it never really worked out. Remember she tried to do the whole gym situation? It was, I forgot what it was called. She tried to do a whole gym business, didn't work out. I think she was trying to do skincare. People was like, really? How you trying to do skincare? You out here looking crazy. So I don't know. If it is plastic surgery, there's probably no coming back from that. You know, once y'all start going to knife, y'all starting to have people scalping up your face and stuff. And there's another thing I don't understand. How do you have all this money, but then y'all go to doctors that do hack jobs on your face, unless you just get extensive work done? And here's the thing. I always thought, like, from her 40s, even down to as she was pushing 60, I thought Madonna looked really good physically and aesthetically. Like, her face, she still looked good. I don't know if she probably was getting Botox here and there. And I thought she looked fine, but maybe she got on her head where it was just like, you know what? The youth, maybe just being around, you know, her dating 20-year-olds, got in her head. You trying to keep up with these little 20-something boys, you know, these twinks you out here dating. Oh yeah, she could have been doing that too. It could have been just like, I'm getting plastic surgery, but I'm also doing Botox. And I'm sure the doctors advised her. But you know, sometimes these people don't listen. But as far as her work ethic, like I said, the plastic surgery aside, Madonna's always been a perfectionist. That's why her shows are what they are. They're these elaborate, intricate shows, and no one has been on her level in regards of giving a stage performance. She has set the bar, which is why when you look at Beyonce, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry, Britney Spears, when you look at all these girls that you've seen over the years, they've taken what Madonna has done, the blueprint, the beginning, middle, end, where you tell a whole story where it's like theatrics and it's very much a traveling Broadway show. And everybody's emulated that with their shows. So yeah, so good luck to you, Madonna. I don't know what, look, that's just apparently going to have to be the face you stuck with. So when we come back, we're going to take a little break. We'll talk about Britney. We're going to talk about the Q Nightclub and all the drama that happened with them closing. No, they're problematic as a nightclub in New York City. Sam Smith's Gloria tour. The gays and the girls and the conservatives throwing lots of shade at this tour. And then also we're going to talk about why gay men hate gay reality stars. I got some thoughts on that. Plus we're going to talk about billionaire David Geffen's new husband. He got a pass, chill. And Billy Porter and his new gig. So take a quick break. I'll get myself together and we'll come back and we're going to close out with those. In a way, I guess it's LGBT news because it's all gay. So don't go away, y'all. Excuse me.
I don't technically agree with this, but I will say it gets closer to my question of, can anyone name a gay male celebrity that gay men support? Or anything featuring gay men, made by gay men, that gay men support? Like, I've never heard anyone say, I'm a Neil Patrick Harris type. Like, I've never heard that sentence. In fact, the only character that I can think of people identifying with and saying, oh, that's me, I see myself on TV, is Max from Happy Endings. And the thing about that is Max was kind of straight passing. Like, gay men have their divas and their icons and their Sex and the Cities and Golden Girls, but do gay men aspire to be gay men or be like any gay men? I just haven't seen that, and I'm interested as to why. That's it. Do gay men like gay men?
While I'm ranting, I would like to give a shout out to all the feminine gay men. These are the people who are perceived to be gay 24/7 throughout their life, and everybody knows and assumes, and they run the risk of being treated differently. While the masculine gay men, such as myself, are always perceived to be straight and can fit in with the crowd if we choose to, and usually run the risk of being attached to a certain image or way of being, so we just be unbothered, really. It takes more strength to be a feminine gay person than a masculine one, I would say. Mainly because a lot of masculine men, they really do get attached to their image. And they say I'm discreet and say, everybody doesn't need to be in my business. But deep down, you don't want everybody in your business because you're scared to be perceived in a different light. You don't want that work. And craziest thing is the DL man, because I'm not DL, I'm gay. And I love masculine men. But the DL men are the ones who be loving the feminine men the most, but they are the most fearful and hide the most. It's like, dang. And while everybody's shaming them, even them shaming them too, they be hiding in the shadows and they're still straight because they mess with feminine guys, which are girls to them, so etc. I don't understand logic of a man, but holla.
Oh, hey bitch. Oh, excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey, bitch. Excuse you. Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I can do that whole lyric. You know, I know I've heard it so many damn times. But anyway, welcome back to the show. There's a lot going on tonight. Shout out to my friends Courtney Evers Harmon and his husband Ted Davis Harmon, who have their infamous party Purgatory happening right now at Rock Bar. Also, my girl Twisted D is turning it out over at the Eagle. She has a DJ set that's going on over there right now. Shout out to my friend Carlos, aka Bio Sounds, who is over there supporting. And also, I did not know this, but apparently, besides, well, I knew about Coachella happening. I have been watching a lot of the Coachella videos. I meant to bring that up too. I have been keeping up with Coachella. Like, I've been watching a lot of the videos and stuff. Like, there's a lot of performances I love. I love Kate Trinata's set. That DJ set was everything. Definitely check it out if y'all can. It's on YouTube. They're doing a whole stream this entire weekend. Kate performance. I love the Chemical Brothers. Becky G did a great job. Bad Bunny set. He closed out the first night. I know there was some technical difficulties he had because Post Malone got up on stage, who's really skinny these days, playing the guitar while Bad Bunny was performing. He put on a long. I think that show had to be a good 2 hours. So Coachella is happening. So if y'all out there, shout out to y'all. Also, Miami Beach Pride is this weekend. So there's a lot of look. We are in the season of parties, so the parties is going on. But with everything going on in Florida, I'm surprised that the gays are out in droves partying when I didn't even know they put up a recent advisory that if y'all gays are traveling out to Florida, y'all better be careful. Because don't they have didn't the idiot dumbass Santis pass a bill where people can openly carry without a license? So just be careful and be safe out there because the loonies are out. Good old Florida. So anyway, welcome back into the show. Let's get into this tea about Miss Britney. So apparently, shout out to her because she is, and I did not realize I spelled forthcoming wrong, but I will go in and fix that. Britney is officially done with her forthcoming memoir, and the Princess of Pop is promising that all the tea that she will be spilling, excuse me, will be brutally honest. Now, according to page 6, they're saying that they can reveal that the superstar's memoir will be released in the fall, and publishing insiders have described the manuscript as inspiring and a groundbreaking instant bestseller. One source said Britney's book is a story of triumph. It will cover her most vulnerable moments, her childhood, being a little girl with big dreams, her breakup with Justin Timberlake. Finally, we can get to the bottom of that, because I've been telling that story for years. The moment she shaved her head and her battle with her family over her conservatorship. It is also a story of survival, finding her way out of the crippling conservatorship to finding happiness with her husband, Sam Asghari. They also can exclusively reveal that Spears has been working with ghostwriter Sam Lansky, an acclaimed novelist and journalist who has written for The Atlantic, New York Magazine, Time, and has profiled stars including Madonna, Nicki Minaj, and Adele. So this is going to be great. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I should also point out that it's going to be published by Simon & Schuster. She was paid a reported $15 million for the book deal, which was sealed by the Creative Artists Agency and their attorney, Matthew Rosengart, who that name is iconic. Because, Matthew Rosengart, I told her he was the recommendation from Miss Madonna when she was going through that, conservatorship situation. So I love the fact that she's got this book finally coming out, and I'm really looking forward to reading. I don't read many memoirs. I read a couple that have given me my life. Apparently, all the gays are in Florida with the dumbass Santas out there. That's why I said, I don't understand the whole thing of, I get we need to have pride and things. I know they were talking about the people in Tennessee were trying to protest them having a pride, and we need those prides in those red states because the representation is needed. But with DeSantis and the dangerous shit that he's pulling out there, I don't want to play with that fool. And he really thinks he's going to win being the president. But that's a whole nother conversation for another show. But anyway, back to Britney. I am here for this memoir, and I'm definitely going to read it, and we're going to recap it and talk about it and break it down on this show. Well, by the time the book comes out, the show will be officially Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I got to brand the name. So, I'm really looking forward to that. There's very few books that I've read over the years that I've actually absolutely loved that I read memoirs. I've read Marilyn Manson's book, Long Hard Road Out of Hell. That was when I was younger. I read that book and I loved it. Still have it somewhere. I don't remember. It might be in my parents' attic, along with all my other books. I loved Mariah Carey's memoir. And I love Sunny Hostin from The View. Those are the books. I don't read many memoirs, but those are my top 3 books. And Britney is about to become number 4 of the top 5. So I'm really hoping she is going to spill some tea. She's going to spill some tea. And we really need to get to the bottom of this Justin Timberlake story with the reason why they broke up. Because remember, the story came out. He wrote Cry Me a River. He said she cheated with Wade Robson, the one that accused Michael Jackson of molesting him, which I don't believe that story. Wade Robson was her choreographer, and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys, he choreographed for them as well. But she, he worked on I'm a Slave for You and all other stuff. They got a little cozy. And like a lot of these young girls, the minute they get their first whiff of dick, it's open season. They drop that kitty down low on any penis that bats in their direction. I'm not slut shaming Britney. I'm just saying, when you younger than he, you can check whatever's getting at you. Wade Robson, say what you want, but he is cute. And plus, they was all in kind of like the same age range. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to getting to the bottom of that. And I'm like, if Justin gonna get mad, I don't know why. I mean, did Britney ever come back with a clapback song like he did? I know he did Cry Me a River, but I don't think Britney really did anything to really address that they're breaking up. I don't think she's ever did that. So finally, we're getting with the book. I'm excited, and I can't wait. So now moving along to New York City's The Q nightclub closing after less than 2 years of being open. Now I want to give a shout out to my friend Michael Cook, who first broke this news. Now, how I found out was because Mitch Farino, who was a DJ, and also he used to manage a couple of the Drag Race girls. I knew him because he was Honey Davenport's manager at one point. But then also, like I said, like the day, and I've probably told you the story a million times, the day that Honey Davenport accused the monster of being racist, I knew about the whole thing about her making the announcement that she was quitting because of some racist shit that was going on, and she was mad that Lady Bunny didn't have her back on the situation. That's a whole nother story I'm going to have to tell y'all another time. Maybe I'll save it for my book. But nevertheless, that's no, I've been told many times to write a book. But anyway, so there's some drama with that. Because she felt like Lady Bunny was being biased because Lady Bunny had a gig at the Monster. So you should be taking up for your fellow queens, but you protected the establishment. So I knew it was going to happen before it happened. So when I was going in, Mitch was at the door, greeted me and my friend. We came in. I was there. A couple of people, Kareem McJagger, a bunch of people, all were there to see the whole shit unfold. So I don't know what the point of me bringing that up. Oh, Mitch Farino. I was like, why did I bring that up? Okay, so that's why. So Mitch Farino, I guess, because I don't know. I have not been to the Q, but I've heard many stories about the Q. I know some people that have gone to the Q when it first opened. And I'm sure they had their intentions in the beginning. However, the stench of the Q, I feel like, of the racism, of the crazy stuff that was going on behind the scenes, basically they couldn't get out of the red, and the shit ended up closing without the employees even knowing. So, they were also saying that COVID was probably played into it as well. So my friend Michael Cook wrote the article about what had happened in regards of the Q closing. Now I didn't know about the Q. So how I found out, like I said, I saw that he posted it on his Instagram, Mitch Farino. And I know the first thing that everybody wanted to do was go to Frankie Sharp, who was a well-known party promoter in New York as well, and ask him, who I think Frankie is opening up a new establishment soon anyway. So he went to, so I know everybody was in the comments like hitting up Frankie Sharp. I even tagged him at one point. But he couldn't speak because the whole lawsuit, and everybody know, there was a lawsuit between them and the Q. He was, he was unlawfully fired because of some stuff that had went on behind the scenes. A lot of gaslighting, a lot of drama. He said he couldn't speak on it. So an anonymous source inside the Q reached out to my friend Michael Cook, who wrote the article for Work.com. Yeah, that's the website. Work, WERRRK. We have all kinds of names for things, but anyway, let's keep going. So an anonymous source from the Q reached out to my friend Michael Cook about the sudden closure and simply said it was most likely the result of management missteps coupled with the inability to recover after the massively poor PR that came from accusations of racism and sexual harassment from former co-owner Frankie Sharp in July of 2022. And that's what Frankie Sharp said that had happened. The allegations resulted in co-owner Adam Pikes being terminated and executive director Luis Fernando being installed. Then came the situation where they was like, oh, we're going to come out with this tier of people. If you can't afford to come into the club, we're going to do like these little tier, like some type of streaming service subscription. Oh, if you want the commercials, it's free. But if you want it without the commercials, it's $15. So, but then people looking at it as like, oh, what you trying to say? I'm too poor. I can't pay a entrance fee for a nightclub. Like with me, I'm like, if I'm going into a club, if I guess I'm old school in that way. If I'm going to an establishment, if I'm going to a bar, nightclub, they need to make money. I'm gonna just be like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in and pay the money. But if you don't want to pay, go somewhere else. I'm not no charity case. Fuck out of here. So I'm gonna just go in a club, not pay, and not even buy drinks, where people just go up in there anyway, do all kinds of stuff. Like, to me, that's not even a good idea, but that's what they came up with. Then the source went on to allege, excuse me, that the nightclub was losing money. They hired the wrong talent and DJs, ignoring DJs in Hell's Kitchen. The source also alleges that, and I have a lot of friends that work in Hell's Kitchen and live in Hell's Kitchen that they could have hired. But I feel it's bullshit that they're trying to blame the drag queens and the DJs for not bringing in, the people. The source also alleged that this resulted in staff cuts, including the marketing and social media team leadership. The source also, alleges that being paid in a timely manner by the Q was a consistent issue. Oh, that's old news. And it's not just the Q. A lot of bars do it. I have so many people that I know work in nightlife that keep talking about they don't get paid on time. I'm not going to tell you who they are because I don't want them to lose out on jobs and this, that, and the third. So I protect my sources. But I have heard many of stories where there are people who work in nightlife that don't get paid on time. They'll do certain events. I'm having to hound you for weeks to get a check. Bitch, I got bills. So I'm having to do all this freelance shit and I'm getting money from there. But why am I working at your establishment and you're not paying me on time? So that's just not a Q thing. That's a club thing. So, former co-owner of the Q, Frankie Sharp, you know what? I wonder what Billy Porter and them have to say about it. Because don't Billy Porter, didn't he own a piece of the Q? He owned a piece. I believe Charlie Carver owned a piece. I believe, what the hell is his name? Zachary Quinto owned a piece. There was a lot of famous gay celebrities that owned a piece of the Q. Why haven't we heard from them? So, Frankie Sharp responded to my friend when he was asked, stating to me exclusively due to ongoing litigation, I am not at liberty to speak freely on the subject of the Q's sudden closure. If news of the Q's closure is true, my hearts go out to all the folks who have unexpectedly lost their jobs today. And that's where my head is at. To me, I'm not upset that the Q is closed. I'm upset that the people that worked at the Q is out of a job. The security guards, the bartenders, the bar backs, the go-go dancers, the door people, the drag queens, the DJs, all the people that work in these establishments. But there was so many complaints about that place. The fact that it was a hostile work environment, that Fluid was bringing in underage boys, serving them alcohol, having sex with them in parts of the club and the stairwells. There was all kinds of drama that was coming out about the Q. So it was a hostile work environment. What I didn't know was that, they did set up a GoFundMe or something or another that I read about that. They said the campaign hopes to raise $50,000 for the more than 100 people, predominantly queer people of color, who worked there, according to the page. It raised $150 within its first 4 hours. So, and the talent director, Xavier Pineda, posted this. But what I didn't know, somebody ended up getting murdered in that place. I saw an article and I was looking for it. to use as a source for this show. I'm gonna have to look it up at another time. But March 27th is when it all came out. But yeah, so like I said before, I'm not that upset over the queue closing. And I know they were trying to develop these to keep it interesting. Because it was saying, however, there's no post on the Q's website, Google business card, or social media about the club being temporarily or permanently closed. Instead, the Q's Instagram profile advertised its weekly Latin X night Culo, spelled Quulo, that was slated for March 29th. The nightclub's owner, Bob Fluitt, and former co-owner Frankie Sharp and his lawyer, Joseph Anthony Dempsey, did not respond to questions. This is from Gay City News, because they were reporting on it as well. And so I don't think there's any more information that I can speak on this, because it said that ever since the complaint was filed, the bar's been limping along. So I feel like all the complaints about the place, regarding the racism, the sexual harassment, all those things, I think that is what hurt the place. And I think a lot of people out of protest for Frankie, because Frankie knows a lot of people and he have a lot of people that follow him. Like I told you, I've been a follower of Frankie Sharp's parties for years. I used to go to one of his, oh my God, it was on the tip of my tongue and I forgot the name of his party. But I used to go to his legendary parties back in the day. I haven't been going out as much as I used to. I'm definitely going to start doing it this coming summer. But he's a very much a staple in the entertainment industry. Like I told you, one time I went to excuse me, I went to one of his parties a couple of years ago, and he was, I think on his website, was talking about the anniversary of the party. I don't know why it escapes my brain, but funny enough, watch it come to me when this topic is done. That's why I saw Amanda Lepore was there. I seen he always had great people coming in and perform, but that's why I met or ran into Andy Cohen and SJP. They were at the party as well. So, I don't know. I just feel like, we've always had issues of people of color kind of not getting a just due in regards of, establishments of parties and things going on in New York. But anyway, you would think that we're the most liberal city, that we still undergo issues of discrimination, whether you're a person of color or whatever the case is. So it's unfortunate that these are the things we're dealing with. And I remember in the beginning, they were talking about the Q is going to be this place where like all different shades of the LGBTQ spectrum were to come in and have these moments. And when you have people who run these places that are racist and homophobic and transphobic or ageist, whatever the case was, I remember I read somewhere someone said that it was just like the whole thing about they changed their policies. But he said not too long ago, a guy who was a person of color and two of his friends were trying to go in, and they were profiled at the door. While the person of color, why am I getting strip searched and my white friend isn't? Or, oh, he's a certain age, he gets in for free, but y'all got to pay. So there was a lot of discriminatory things going on, and I'll keep you abreast of what's going on, like what will happen to the future of the Q, who's going to buy it, and if they're going to change the name, they're going to redevelop it into something else, because I feel like the name is tainted. So someone else needs to come in and buy it and do whatever needs to be done. So now, let's move on. Talk about Sam Smith, child, because their concert is ruffling a lot of feathers. So their worldwide Gloria tour kicked off on Wednesday in Sheffield, England. It's, I guess, Sam Smith's biggest hit is Unholy. And quite as it's kept, I'm tired of hearing it because it's everywhere. Now, there was a clip that went viral on social media that I wound up seeing, and of course, everybody had opinions on it. Even I had an opinion on it. Where they were talking about, welcome to my gay cabaret, and they were seen wearing thigh-high leather boots, fishnet stockings, and a gold corset with his big old boobs hanging out. Now, of course, the children was bothered, because at one point, Smith strips down to just underwear, while also dressed as a devil in another part of the set. And then also got emotional by saying the following: seeing all of you look is a joy. Welcome to the Gloria tour. It's been so long since I've been on stage like this. It's been 5 years and a lot has happened. Then becoming tearful, Smith continued, I just want to say thank you so much for being with me through these crazy times. It means the world to me. As long as you are happy, I will sing for you every night. But of course, people had split opinions about the show. So one person said, had the pleasure of seeing Sam Smith at Sheffield tonight. What a show, what a voice. That's from Liam Dalton. Another person accused, oh my God, these fucking people, Sam Smith of being satanic. This is Sam Smith. Why does he need, of course, now you're going to misgender, to literally worship the devil as openly and abhorrently as possible to sing his songs? So you're openly and purposefully misgendering. But also, what I don't get is, why is everything that somebody do rooted in Satanism? You religious people, y'all love to sit up here and try to dictate like y'all are the ambassadors for the Jesus and God. Nobody died and made y'all God's spokesperson. So when anybody's time comes and they have to go to the pearly gates, they ain't got to answer to your ugly ass. They're going to answer to the Lord if that's what you believe in. But not everybody believes what you believe. Another person wrote, last night Sam Smith performed a satanic show filled with sexual references, fetish gear, a striptease, and a grotesque imitation of sex acts on stage while children were in the audience. Oh, this is the part where we start to give a fuck about kids. One TikTok video shows a mother posting about her 5-year-old attending the concert. So that's that parent's decision on whether or not they want to bring their kid to a concert. Why do people put so much energy and emphasis into what a parent decides to bring their children to? I've seen grown-ass people bringing their kids who shouldn't be in no R-rated movie to an R-rated movie. So some people went and clapped back at the hate, accusing critics of homophobia, fatphobia, and femphobia. Shout out to Queer Tea for putting all these tweets together, because you definitely helped me out with this story. If you're clutching your pearls over Sam Smith doing nothing more risque than the same stuff that already had squares clutching pearls since forever, Elvis, Madonna, Freddie Mercury, Bowie, Christina Aguilera, Miley Cyrus, Lil Nas X, and more already offended you and your ilk. Another person put, I see the same people who are seething over Sam Smith again are the same ones who insist they're free speech absolutists and say things like, if you don't like my favorite bigoted comedian, don't attend his shows. It's that simple. The cognitive dissonance must weigh heavily. Agreed. But here's my overall thoughts. Because at one point, Sam Smith gets on stage and covers Madonna's Human Nature. But The Guardian wound up saying the concert, they gave it 4 out of 5 stars, saying it starts sluggish, but builds in momentum and spectacle. Me personally, I find Sam Smith to be boring. Great voice. The man is they're talented, very talented. However, I just don't feel like this is them. Like I'm not getting Sam Smith out of this. I feel like you're trying so hard to distance yourself away from the Adele comparisons, because there's always been jokes that you've never seen Adele and Sam Smith in the same room, that they're clearly the same person. There have been jokes about that for years. I don't believe that. Of course, Adele and Sam Smith are not the same person, but it is kind of funny because their music is similar. They do all these boring ass tort songs, great voices. They stand there and they sing their songs, and that's it. But now that Sam's trying to do all this Madonna-esque spectacle where they're half naked and doing all this sexually suggestive stuff, first of all, if they decide to want to do that, that's great. Sam Smith is over the age of 21. So as a grown human being, they should be able to incorporate whatever the hell they want in their own damn show. And if parents want to take their kids to the show, let them take them to the show. But if you have a problem with it, don't take your kids to said show. But don't tell other people how to raise their fucking kids. That's the thing that gets on my nerves about everybody else. People need to mind the business that pays them. Now, like I said, this whole situation with Sam, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying this era. I'm not buying all the other stuff that's going with it. I listened to the album. There's some cute songs on there, but I was bored with the record overall. It's not something that I keep on repeat. I've had Ava Max's album on repeat probably because it's a good workout album. I'm looking forward to Jessie Ware's album. I'm looking forward to Alice Goldfrapp's album. I'm looking forward to, like, there's a lot of really good artists that's come out this year that with some real good, authentic pop music, dance music. So I said, Goldfrapp, Jessie Ware. I'm really looking forward to Jake Shears. He got a new album coming out. Openly gay performer from the Scissor Sisters. So I'm getting a lot of really good music. And like I said, Ava Max, even though I don't feel like I'm getting her personality from any of those songs, those are some good vibes. And it keeps me going when I'm working out at the gym. But Sam Smith, I'm like, who are you throughout all of this? Is this really you that's on stage? Or are you just trying to overcompensate and really, like, it feels forced. This whole era, this whole image, it feels forced. Similar to, and I'm going probably, but I don't give a fuck, I feel the same way about Chloe Bailey. I feel like with this album selling 10,000 copies, it is not a coincidence. I don't feel like Chloe knows who the hell she is. I don't feel like, and I feel like people on social media was mad because Beyonce didn't support the record. And I'm sitting there like, well, on one hand, I do think that Beyonce should just give a little shout out or something. Because Chloe is a Parkwood artist. So don't just be behind the scenes talking about, oh, I gave pointers and I love the record. But you're not out here being like, go buy my girl's album, whatever. But then again, Beyonce barely promoted Renaissance. So why would you be surprised that she ain't supporting Chloe? None of them songs was hitting. She's trying too hard with the gyrating and being half naked and trying to give Beyonce type performance. And girl, you just started out with your solo deal. Build up to it. But then again, you know, it's a marathon when it comes to it. Like, it's everybody don't need to be selling 1 million copies a week. Quite as ain't nobody doing that no more. When I was coming up, you know, with the era of Britney and the Backstreet Boys and stuff, they were doing 1 million a week. People ain't selling records like that no more. So, like I said, with Sam Smith, Bormani, and Chloe, I feel like y'all are having an identity crisis. Y'all need to figure out what it is that y'all need to do as far as the music and stuff goes. But if y'all love the spectacle and if they're giving you a great show in the second and third, by all means. But I'm just not buying into this whole Sam Smith Gloria era. I'm not. Like I said, there's some cute songs on that album. I can't listen to Unholy no more. That song, y'all work that shit. Y'all ran that into the ground. I can't listen to that or that song. So good luck to you, Sam. You continue to do your show. I know he has 2 shows he's doing at Madison Square Garden. I know the first one sold out. I'm not sure about the second one. But to me, it's like when you're a powerhouse singer, I don't know. To me, when what Sam is doing is more or less built for a pop star, like a Madonna or I would say even Janet. But Janet has been giving us the same old for the past 2 decades. Like she hasn't evolved her style, her choreography, any of that stuff. And I live for Janet. She has done a lot for the music industry, but her style hasn't evolved. Like I just saw clips from her together. What's the name of the tour that she's doing? Together Again. Same choreography, same tempo of music. How are you performing Together Again 3 times? That's another thing I saw. 3 different versions of Together Again. I'm like, oh, your catalog is far and wide. Why are you singing the same song 3 times? But anyway, let's get into this other topic so we can hurry up and wrap this show. So there's an article that came out on The Advocate that I thought was relatively interesting in regards to the Real Friends of WeHo and a whole bunch of other stuff. But they did an article called "Why Do Gay Men Hate Gay Reality Stars?" The pylon was almost immediate for the Real Friends of WeHo, but the queer hate for the gay reality show, was it irrational or appropriate? You know, because people called it tacky, they called it phony, they called it unwatchable. Those are the overall reviews for the new reality show. They dragged it through the mud. Remember, it was a show that featured Brad Goreski, choreographer Todrick Hall, TV host James Vaughn, and their group of friends, birthed from central casting, were just as sour, especially, because the drama that transpired between putting it after Drag Race and the fact that the episodes will be shortened because it was on Friday night. Now, I've been watching reality TV for as long as I can remember, and I support it all if it's good. And anytime there was a gay reality show, that came out, I think I was always in the minority. Because I remember when, I've done so many different versions of blogging and podcasting and TV, like this type of show format for so long. I think I did, the first time I did one was 2010 with DJ Chauncey D. We wound up doing a podcast or something together, and we used to do recaps of the A-list, New York. I think we even did the Dallas one too. But we did the A-list, and we sat and did recaps, and we talked about it, and this, that, and the third, and the drama, and stuff. So I've always been pretty much in the minority, and people were hating then. Calling it, oh, it's stereotypes, and this is not a true representation of our community. But what I don't get is that the same gays who talk so much shit about the Real Friends of WeHo will be the same ones that will sit up in here and live tweet and watch The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Vanderpump Rules. Two shows that film in West Hollywood. I remember when I lived in LA, I lived not too far. I lived in Silver Lake, which is it takes about a half an hour, maybe 20 minutes, depending, to get from Silver Lake to West Hollywood. So, and then if you go through West Hollywood, you do see Pump, which is Lisa Vanderpump's spot. So I find it hilarious that you will sit and support, those shows, but you won't support us, a show about us. I asked a friend of mine this earlier, who works in a lot of West Hollywood nightclubs, and he was saying maybe it's because the gays don't like seeing they don't like seeing a version of themselves on TV that they don't like seeing this version on TV because it's a reflection of who they are. And I think it sheds a light on that gays are catty and messy, which we can be. A certain amount of us, we tend to be like that. But the article, what I thought was relative is because on the Housewives theme podcast, No Filter with Zach Peter, one of the biggest issues of WeHo was the sexual orientation of the cast, but the issue that they had was the inauthentic connections between the stars. A reality show always casts its stars, but the most successful feature family dynamics, Housewives of Beverly Hills, or friendships that predate the show, Housewives of New Jersey. So I think what hurt it was that the thing that they did with the Real Housewives that I've noticed, like when you look at, let's use Atlanta as an example. So when the Real Housewives of Atlanta came around, they did something where it was, they had Nene Leakes, and she brought in people that she knew, and they surrounded her with people that she knew as friends. They could have did that with the Real Friends of WeHo instead of thinking, who are like the familiar names that we could get within the community, instead of just, being like, oh, so if you're gonna get Todrick, or if you're gonna get Brad, or if you're gonna get some of these characters, I'd have been like, okay, Curtis, Brad, and Todrick. If those were your core three, ask them, recommend one or two people that you know that you're close friends with, and have them see if they want to come on and do the show. So that way y'all kind of know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So it needs to feel authentic in that way. So they were saying, think of the Real Housewives franchise. It's been around for so long. We've become so savvy that we know real chemistry and we know casting. We know when someone's just brought on a show, so they're a name, or when they bring on someone younger to attract a younger audience. These tricks and gimmicks, we see right through it. It's another thing too. Aside from the issue of Real Friends being on the title, Peter said that setting also helped doom the show. In the popular queer imagination, West Hollywood is associated with a gay superficiality that is less aspirational and more exclusionary. Whether true or not, WeHo often brings to mind thick bank accounts, thin waists, and no fats, no femmes grinder profiles. I don't personally like WeHo, said Peter, who resides in downtown LA. I don't go out. I don't like the association excuse me, that gay men just love to party and fuck each other, and we all have gangbangs. A good threesome is a good threesome, but I'm a career person. I'm so much more than the fabulosity of being gay and wearing a boa and going to a drag show on Sunday. That's fun and a great aspect of the community, but there's so much more than that. I wish that would get represented a little more. A show about young, attractive gay men working in the entertainment and fashion industries in a place packed with gay bars and restaurants is just too on the nose, Peter says. Instead, he believes a cast featuring a true cross-section of the queer community, doctors, teachers, parents, monogamous couples, and based on pre-existing connections would fare much better with a gay audience. I do agree with that. I feel like if you make people like rooted in real life, so if you get like doctors and lawyers and teachers and other, and mix them in with like a blogger or a rapper or somebody, like just different things, and not all be rooted in entertainment and exclusively put it in West Hollywood. Because I do agree that West Hollywood does feel unattainable. When you go to West Hollywood, I have to admit, it did feel a little exclusionary to me. It did feel that, we're the Heathers versus the Boogers, and it really feels like that if you're not, you don't look a certain way, you don't carry yourself a certain way, if you don't have a certain amount in your bank account, we don't want anything to do with you. So it does feel very much like high school in a way. So I totally get that feeling. If you would have rooted it in Silver Lake, which is like the Bushwick, Brooklyn of LA. They have gay bars out there. When I lived out there, there was like 3 or 4 bars. I forgot the club that closed out there. But they have Akbar, the legendary spot out there. They have the Eagle. There's 2 Eagles. I live by the one in Silver Lake. So there's gay establishments in that area, and that's what I liked about living in that area. Like it's expensive, but not really. Like it's affordable. And it's a little rough around the edges, but it's also like gentrified. So it's kind of like I was saying, like very much Brooklyn. But it also has, the gay bars and things out there. So it's a mixed bag, and that's what I liked about it. So you could have shot it in North Hollywood. You could have did downtown LA. You could have did Silver Lake. You don't necessarily have to do West Hollywood. West Hollywood, I do agree, is a little too on the nose. So I would have liked that. Now, as far as doing the whole thing of doctors, teachers, parents, and all that other stuff, that would be great to kind of integrate that. But would they be interesting? You would have to make them interesting. So he said, I want to see a variety of gay men. People are career focused or family focused, relationship and marriage focused. All the things that break the mold of where people think of as gay men. Well, look, we all know that a lot of relationships ain't what it seems too. A lot of y'all want to perpetuate a certain image that y'all are in these monogamous relationships, but y'all got open marriages and open relationships, and y'all doing 3 ways of 4Gs, which is fine. But y'all got to be willing to show all of that and not just be out here trying to act like we're Mr. and Mrs. Kumbaya because our rights are being taken away by assholes like Dumb Santas. So if we're going to show warts and all, we have to be willing to show that. But the fact of the matter is, we support the ratchetness. We don't support those positive representations. Because like when people say, well, why do y'all keep, like I heard Love and Hip Hop is being rejudged. And so sort of like a more docu-series type thing about women who are movers and shakers in Atlanta. Y'all like the ratchetness. Y'all like the basketball wives and the girls fighting and all that other stuff. They try to put positive representation. The ratings is in the toilet. They also said, Peter said, it's hard too for gay men. It's hard for us to root for each other. I think it comes down to a deeper rooted insecurity. We were raised to be unsure of ourselves. The climate is changing and things are shifting, but that inherent judgment we have of ourselves is projected onto judgment we give to other gay men. Peter also said that he hopes another network will take a stab at queer-led reality show since, well, gay people are fun to watch, saying, I lost my place. Oh, here it is. I always think gay men have such rich histories and such big obstacles they've had to overcome that they're going to naturally be entertaining. Gay men have great wit because we had to develop a personality, a sense of humor, a sharp tongue as a meaning of defense. Maybe at the end of the day, WeHo was a good thing because it opened the door and provided an opportunity for more shows like this to come to fruition. I don't really want to see another Real Friends, but someone has to do it first, and then somebody has to come around and do it better. So I did see the potential in the Real Friends of WeHo. I don't think it'll be back for a second season. I do think that the way they went about putting that show together and the people behind the scenes was all wrong. Maybe when it comes down to doing a reality type of show in that context, you need to have actual gay people working on that show that really know how to put that type of show together. Because I find it funny, like, why hasn't Andy Cohen or Carlos King or one of them put together a gay reality show? Because I've heard them say men aren't interesting. No, straight men aren't interesting. Gay men can be very interesting. We have, like we said, a wit. We could be shady when need be. We could definitely entertain. There are plenty of YouTube-based reality shows that are centered around queer people that are entertaining. Trust and believe. Y'all just not checking for them, or maybe y'all not aware of it. But I do think there is a place for a Real Friends of WeHo type show. But if you're going to do a Real Housewives type show, don't copy verbatim from the show. What you need to do is basically just showcase, we have to be able to show warts and all. Just cast some interesting people who are willing to be vulnerable, who are willing to turn up. We have Jersey Shore. Those kids didn't know what they were getting into when they did that show. They were just showing their entire, selves, warts and all. And it was more than just the stereotypes of Italians and this, that, and the other. You get to see all these different sides and then how they became this family, this, that, and the third. So kind of take more of that type of approach. Or just bring on some people that, have an interesting story to tell. And mix it up. Don't just make it like one thing. Oh, we're just going to pick these known D-list gay celebrities and put them on a show and then tell them to act messy and catty. And then going to break the fourth wall, be like, that's not my show. That's not the type of show I want to do, blah, 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 whatever. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, what? Because I've always been curious, like, what would you like to see in regards of a gay reality show? Like, I like seeing any kind of representation. Yeah, I may not agree with some of the stereotypes and stuff that goes into it, but I'm thoroughly entertained by certain things. Look, y'all may have hated on Real Friends of WeHo, but the reality is there were some moments of the show that really were great. And I feel like Curtis and what he was struggling with, that was a great integral part of the storyline, where he was talking about being an actor in Hollywood and being a person of color and coming to terms with being gay and how that would affect his career, and not only his career, but how it would affect his personal life. Trying not to disappoint your family, or trying to, all these different things that we as people go through in real life. That's relatable. So that was a great part of the show, and I really wish there would have, there could have been more of that, where the other people on the show were just as interesting, but unfortunately they weren't. Curtis Hamilton had the best damn storyline for the whole show. That's probably why the show was 6 episodes. So I'm sure this story is not going to go anywhere. There's more to talk about it. Look, I told you I got plenty of ideas for shows, scripted and unscripted. Speaking of which, we need We need some more scripted shows. We need some reality shows. We definitely need that representation on television of more queer visibility, especially what was going on in Congress right now. So the more we are seeing and the more our stories are told, the more I feel like people will empathize with us, because we have to be visible out of here. We have to be vigilant. They're trying to erase us. They're trying to shove us all back in the closet. They're about everything. Let's see, including maybe, well, I'm kind of going back and forth if I should talk about this David Geffen story. Because I'm trying to wrap up the show. Like, I'm almost at 3 hours, which I don't mind, but I'm just saying. But since we're already here, I guess we'll go through it. So people are trying to go in. Well, this is the New York Post. They're trying to shade David Geffen, who is a man of a certain age. He's an old man. He's 80 years old. He's worth $7.7 billion. He has a mega yacht, and he has a bunch of homes around the world. But he apparently married a one-time model by the name of Donovan Michaels, who's 30. So there's a 50-year age difference between the couple. Now, the New York Post decided to put Donovan's past on blast, revealing that his real name was David Armstrong. He was born in Michigan. He started going by Brandon Foster around the time he moved to Florida in 2014 and began dancing and promoting parties at Miami's gay clubs, including clothing optional pool parties, along with plenty of other hot, sexy guys. On a social media account from the time, he frequently flaunted his toned physique in raunchy photos, and in posts from September 2014 said that he was doing a little camming tonight, adding he would put on a good show for anyone who would pay to access his footage. So he was a cam model at one point. So they're trying to expose that. Michaels left Florida around 2016 and 2017 for New York City modeling scene, around which time he also adopted his current name. A former girlfriend who asked not to be identified said she only knew Michaels to date women. The ex also stated that Michaels was the type to always jump headfirst into any adventure and wasn't shocked by the news of his nuptials, saying, "I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's very attractive. He would tell me people just assume that he was into guys from what he posts on Instagram." I know that he was getting comments like that from gay men, and he was really attractive and in really good shape. Now, no one knows exactly how they met, as in Donovan and David Geffen, but they're saying that Michaels was Geffen's personal trainer, who famously posted a picture of him and staff quarantining in 2020 on his $400 million mega yacht called the Rising Sun. Now, Geffen, who's 80, and his much younger husband was spotted touching down at New York City heliport last Monday. Pictures of the pair's Big Apple arrival show Geffen flashing a gold band on his ring finger. It was unclear if his 30-year-old husband was wearing his. Now, it did reveal that a couple of weeks ago, Showbiz 411 reported that the couple got married in March and a ceremony attended by only 4 people. Angela Armstrong, one of Michael's sisters, would not confirm or deny reports of the pair's nuptials when contacted by the Post. But one of Michael's friends, who asked to remain anonymous, told the Post that former fitness trainer was always looking for his next adventure and was really determined to improve his life. Now, Geffen also co-founded DreamWorks as well as several record labels. Forbes lauded him as a luxury property aficionado who boasts an impressive contemporary art collection. He owns several sprawling estates throughout the country, including one in New York City's priciest apartments. So people are out here hating on David Geffen's situation and Donovan Michael. Look, Donovan hit the mother load. He hit the jackpot. He got him an old ass man with a whole lot of money. All you gotta do is give him a little yum yum bouncy, and then he'll roll over, go to sleep, and he's living his best life. This young man is living his best life at the expense of a billionaire. Now, I don't know how ironclad their prenuptial agreement is or if they even signed one. But look, all I got to say is you like it, I love it. And he hit the jackpot. He wound up securing the bag, and we can't be mad at it. That's all. So good luck to you. That article got a lot of hits on my website, by the way. Now, last but certainly not least, Billy Porter's got a new job. So apparently the Emmy and Tony Award winning performer, jack of all trades, is set to co-write, co-produce, and stars the iconic James Baldwin in an upcoming biopic about the civil rights activist. Now, shout out to the Hollywood Reporter for this tea. Porter and Dan McCabe will pen the script from a theatrical feature based on David Leeming's 1994 book, James Baldwin, a biography. Broadway-trained Porter is a longtime devotee of Baldwin, having quoted from the legendary author and civil rights campaigner during his 2019 Emmy-winning acceptance speech. The deep dive into Baldwin's life and struggles represents the culmination of a long-held creative ambition for the Emmy, Tony, and Grammy Award-winning performer, who was one Oscar short of an EGOT. As a Black queer man on this planet with relative consciousness, I find myself, like James Baldwin said, in a rage all the time. I am because James was. I stand on James Baldwin's shoulders, and I intend to expand his legacy for generations to come. That's what Porter said in a statement. Now, born in Harlem in 1924, Baldwin was a gay African-American writer and civil rights activist who spent much of his life outside of the U.S. owing to the racism of his youth, and where he wrote extensively about Black identity, activism, sexuality, and race relations. His best-known books included Go Tell It on the Mountain, Notes of a Native Son, Another Country, and The Fire Next Time, have been turned into or inspired movies, including Barry Jenkins' If Beale Street Could Talk and Raoul Peck's I Am Not Your Negro documentary. Porter's Incognito Productions will co-produce the Baldwin biopic along with Allen Media Group. Billy Porter and Dan McCabe's talent and commitment to amplifying James Baldwin's legacy and contributions are invaluable and unmatched for his unique and epic story. Well, here's the thing. I love that Billy Porter is getting his just due in Hollywood. It has been a long time coming. I've also heard the stories about Billy Porter not being the nicest. I have met Billy Porter a couple of times. I have no issues with him personally. I be telling this story all the time. Back in the day, before Billy Porter's career hit it out the park with polls and this and the third, I used to see Billy down at the piers in New York City, in Brooklyn. Well, not Brooklyn, Manhattan. What am I talking about? West Village, the pier. That's where all the gays went when we hit a certain age. Or sometimes it was even younger. When you need a place to go, we went down to the piers. But this is before, that was way before that. No, after that. So this is probably like in the 2000s or something. I used to see Billy down at the piers. I also remember back when he used to date Sir Ari Goldman. He rest in peace. They used to date back in the day. That's how him and Kevin Naviance became close friends. So, and then seeing him in the Broken Hearts Club and all the other stuff. So I've been a fan of Billy Porter for a long time. I know a lot of people kind of going back and forth, filming kind of ways, because why is Billy Porter playing him? First of all, I feel like with Billy's cachet, he is the only one that can get this movie made at this point. So Billy Porter's got a lot of pull in Hollywood at this point because of winning the Tony and the Emmy and all this other stuff. And he's been really successful with a lot of his directing and started a production company. And once you start a production company, that's when you start making the moves to get things made. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does. Hopefully he don't turn into some old liberal, watered down situation. You know how Hollywood gets when it comes to telling the stories of, people, our people, or any people. They want to water that shit down and make it what it is. Just like when I was talking about that Elvis movie. That was a piece of crap. Y'all don't really dive into the Elvis that we all knew he was. Y'all want to make him like all of a sudden he put all these black people on. Well, that wasn't the case. So that's why I didn't particularly care for that movie, but I watched it for the entertainment purposes. A lot of times, biopics rub me the wrong way because y'all always want to Hollywoodize it. Even down to, and I always bring this up, Bohemian Rhapsody. Hated that movie because y'all try to water that shit down like Freddie Mercury wasn't even in a dick. You believe he was heterosexual the way they did that movie, and that was because his bandmates was behind it. Because we all know if Sasha Baron Cohen would have got his way, the movie would have been done the way it would have been gayed up, which it should have been. But y'all were trying to get to the mainstream stuff. So congratulations to Billy Porter. Definitely looking forward to seeing this movie, and I'll definitely be at theater opening night when it comes out. So overall, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in. I know this is a long ass episode, but child, we can do that because it's the internet. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Tune in next week for a brand new episode of The Rundown with myself, Chris Avalon. So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you, Victor Yates, for all your comments. And those who will be watching this back, definitely leave your comments down below. Let me know what topics you were liking and what your overall thoughts were. Please like and subscribe. Keep those algorithms and everything going. And until next time, thank you, darling. And ciao, darlings. Thank you, darling, and ciao, darlings. But yes, thank you for the great show compliment. I'm going to go rest his voice. I've been talking for 3 hours.